I was slightly disappointed to see there wasn't a random element to the arpeggiator.
Just
but
so
I'm
you
sure
guys know, we are streaming.
That's a firmware. Good. Hello, everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it says waiting. It still says waiting on YouTube.
It doesn't say waiting here. It says it's live.
No, it's live.
And I literally just typed hi everyone and it worked.
Yeah.
And I can see us. Yeah.
I've got,
hi everyone.
I've got the stream up.
Just let these guys chat amongst themselves. I've just got back from a family function. I'll tell you guys about it in a sec. And I'm just going to finish just setting up a few things, and you guys can all keep entertaining the chatties. Hi everyone.
Cool. Me and Andy were just talking about the Soma Terra. Andy, well, I've got a question for you while we're just messing around. I bought some of them.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Did you take some of the springs out on yours?
No, they just came
with that.
I actually got them from
spring.
Yeah, I got them from the guy Kevin at Soma. Basically, he gave them to me.
Oh, right.
Because it was his brilliant idea to use them because no one else did it.
Because I bought these on Amazon, and when I tried it, the springs are too stiff. But luckily they just pull apart. Oops, I've just lost the spring.
Yeah,
they just pull apart, and I've left. Like I looked at yours on your stream. I thought, I'll just put one spring in the middle, so I'm going to mess around and vary that to some extent to see it. It's now
you don't
very
need all
floppy.
4. You can probably get by with 3 of them. I just put all 4 underneath. But you can do a triangle arrangement. Just have 3.
I was using a triangle because there's a triangle under it now.
Yeah.
Yes. So.
Yeah. I missed something. Have you just got a Terra here?
I was going to wait until. Yeah, I have. But I was going to wait until.
Well, you've got. It's a bit late. You've given it away.
Obviously. I know.
Because you just said it was under mine.
Yeah, I know.
Crazy people.
I've been spending money this week.
Anyway, shh. No one's heard it because we're not live yet. Oh God, yeah.
No, because
we are. We are because I snuck it live while you weren't looking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm still setting things up, but anyway, it'll do. It will do. We can get through the first couple of segments.
Every time I come in the studio.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's what I was going to do. Yeah. Keep talking to them, guys. I haven't quite.
Oh yeah,
yet.
but it's damn cold here. I'll tell you. It's wind. It's easterly wind. It is freezing.
We had a terrible frost the other night. And I did have to get up really early to take Jane to. Jane was going into London on Thursday, and literally scraping the car. It was. I've never seen frost like that for a long time. But there again, I don't do early mornings normally.
I was going to say, Ian, we've had it most of this year.
I know, but I don't get up until lunchtime. Well, no, actually, to be fair, I'm out of bed.
Jeez.
I'm usually out of bed by 10 o'clock. How's that?
How do you get away with that? Oh, you don't have kids living at home anymore, do you?
Oh no, the kids have got. I mean, actually, when the kids were small and when they had a proper job in a university, I used to be at my desk for 8 o'clock. So. I'm past all that now.
We had a night a few days ago. I was driving around at 2:30 in the morning. It was -3 Celsius.
Yikes!
Very cold for Northern California.
Yeah, exactly.
Very.
Okay.
Crazy fog and everything.
Well,
I have a feeling I've forgotten something, but oh well.
It's been stinking hot here. That's for sure, hasn't it, Rant?
Oh hell yeah! It's like hot right now.
Yes.
Today was a nasty day. Like in terms.
Humidity.
I don't think it got anything more than about 36 degrees Celsius, by the way, which is probably cracking 100 your Fahrenheit temperature, Andy. But it was just very, very humid. Because where we live here, it doesn't usually get that humid. It's not a very humid place here. And I've lived in humid places. Perth, my city, Perth, is not humid at all compared to. I mean, I've lived in Malaysia. That's humid there. That is humid. I lived in Darwin, which is the northern part of Australia. That is humid. But yeah, Perth doesn't get humid, but today you could cut it with a knife. The air was thick and hot and steamy, and people like that though. Some people like that sort of weather. I'm not a big fan of it.
I think I'd probably quite like it. If I'm honest.
What was I doing?
I haven't spent a lot of time in really hot countries where there's a lot of moisture in the air.
Oh, I love the tropics.
There's enough moisture in the air in this country. That's why we get so cold. It's always damp and pulls it out of you. Believe it or not, I'm not a fan of cold, but I like going to Iceland. That's one of my favourite places, Iceland. It's a different cold as well.
Yeah.
All right, we should probably start the show.
Okay.
What the heck?
I've still got one thing to do, but I can probably find time during the show to do it. It won't take me that long to do. Yeah. All right, why don't we launch the show by going like this? Yeah, just in case you hadn't wondered, bothered, whatever, we are actually streaming. Hi! Synth Geekery, episode 182? I don't know. What are we up to? I forget. How you going? Sorry about a little bit late start. I've literally just got back from a family function. My son just graduated from university, so
yay!
I'm kind of still in my threads here.
Congratulations!
I know. Isn't that cool? He's now got a computer science degree, following in the steps of his old man. But he majored in cybersecurity. So I just wanted to give him a big shout out and say how proud I am of him. And I think it's amazing that you see your kids succeed. Because, it's kind of like, I must have done something right with that one.
It's your first kind of empirical evidence that you actually accomplished something. Yes,
I completely agree with that. Although
there's still time.
Yeah.
I've got two more.
I think Jane was responsible for our children and them doing well.
All right. Well, it is Synth Geekery. What do we do here? We talk about synthesizers, drum machines, sequencers, modular synths, eurorack. We talk about hot air guns from Amazon. Oh. No, we don't. If you're wondering what that was, that yellow box on my chair over there, it's a hot air gun. It's funny, Amazon, isn't it? Like, some things you can get and it takes literally a day. Like, you get it and the next thing you know, it's at your front doorstep and you're going, how the hell? I live in, I don't know if you guys know how far away Perth is from everything. It's literally a long, insert how many swear words you like, a long way away from everything. And to see something rock up the next day on your doorstep is kind of cool in a way. It's kind of like, almost like, hang on a minute, did it teleport here? No, they've got airplanes. I understand. I get it. I get technology. But I've got some stuff to do. Chris will love this. I've got some stuff to do with the hot air gun. One of the things I will be doing is not synth-related. I actually have an iPhone 14 to take the back off. My wife has upgraded her phone now. God, she's a lucky duck. I'm still rocking an old iPhone, and she's got the latest and greatest. Anyway, she dropped the 14, her old phone. And you know how they've got a glass back? Apple, what were you thinking, putting a glass back on a phone? I mean, that's just ridiculous. Anyway, bugger paying Apple.
Everyone else is doing it.
I'm not paying Apple $200 to replace it. Get stuffed. I'm going to do it myself, and I'm going to hot air gun the back off and watch all that little glue just melt away, and the back will just go, boop.
Yeah.
I've got a replacement back. I got it off of AliExpress for $16 Aussie. Yeah. I'm laughing. None of this $200 Apple price, hey? Anyway, that's the job for tomorrow. We'll worry about that then.
Good luck.
I'll be right. I've done things like this. I've done worse. Yeah. I mean, I built that.
You've seen it on YouTube. You can do it.
Exactly. There's literally a YouTube video that I'll be following.
Exactly.
Mind you, when I watch this guy on YouTube, I'm cringing. You know when you watch guys on YouTube that are doing things like electro engineering, and you like, no mate, you do not. Oh, you got that metal thing right near that. Oh my god, you're gonna break it. That's the YouTube video. Literally that.
This close to disaster.
This close to replacing your iPhone.
They have no idea.
Speaking of no idea, the show, I've got no idea how to run them, obviously, but we have a lot of stuff happening in the news, and I actually kind of feel like I've missed today. I was not really near my computer today. Lots of things going on family-wise today, so I've got a good excuse. But in the week, I filled up that little news segment with so much stuff. you guys are going to have to like get popcorn. I think that's what you're going to have to do.
Okay.
It's insane. In fact,
marshmallows.
We have got some software again this week to show you. Some software again, and not only are we going to show it, we're actually going to tell you that you can get it for free. How cool is that? How cool is that? That is so cool. Right. We've got our usual segments. We're going to say g'day to all these guys here and all you guys in Chatland. Hey, by the way, if you're wondering, hello to the TikTokers. Hello to the Twitchers.
Oh, yeah.
What do the Twitchers do? Do they Twitch? I don't know what they do. Sorry about that. I know you guys, you're the gamers, right? You're probably thinking, what's this old fart talking about synths for on our gaming platform? Well, guess what? Gamers love synths. You know, you got to get into it. You love listening to Devo. We'll talk about Devo a bit later. You know, get involved in your synthesizers. I know guys who are avid gamers and they've got the EMU sampler on the left and their big consoles and their computer and their massive huge tower with their water-cooled system and their graphics cards coming out the wazoo. They love synths. So that's why we're on Twitch. And we might be old farts, but we got knowledge. So we're here to share it with you. It doesn't cost you anything. So do click us to follow. Do the Amazon Prime, whatever you call it. I don't know what you do. On TikTok, do the follow as well. We love you if you do that. And if you're in YouTube, because that's where basically the core of us come from. We've spawned from YouTube and we've spread our wings. If you're on YouTube, big g'day to all you guys. Massive big hello to all the channel members, and I'll talk to you guys in a minute and say thank you to that. But before we do, let's say g'day, and we'll start on reverse order with Chris.
Hey,
how's your week been?
Hello, everyone. My week's been pretty busy, working. I've done a few things this week. At the moment I am watching live the manufacturing of PCBs that I've put out for manufacture this week. So most of the week was spent finalising those designs and preparing the files for them and all that exciting stuff, as well as I did a little bit of cardboard printed circuit board. Actually, I'll talk about that later. Where's my slide?
Why have you frozen? That was a bit weird.
Was I?
What'd you do?
Okay. Sorry. Hello. Bit of cardboard circuitry there, emulation of PCB before I've actually got one, just to check that the components actually kind of do fit and get a general fit and feel for how everything is.
That's
Make
cool.
sure I haven't made any super.
Cool.
No, I know.
Super
I've done
cool.
that similar things before, but this is the first time I've actually printed it out on cardstock, actually put pins through the holes, and put it on a piece of foam, packing foam, like what I send my modules in. Just so you know, this is the high quality foam that I send all my modules to people in. Only the best for you. So
was it a Nokia
so
1600?
yeah, but this is so this is that's the first time I tried that, and yeah, it seemed pretty handy. So I kept on putting bits in, and eventually went, yeah, okay, I know everything I'm going to know. And of course, as things inevitably work out, as soon as your PCB is sort of being manufactured and they're starting to put chemicals in and stuff like that, you notice something that you may have made a mistake on.
Oh no.
But it's okay because I have super ridiculously high standards, so it's not a major issue. It's just a sort of that might be an issue. It's okay, I can put this on, that'll fix it. Oh damn, now I've made the lettering a bit too close and it's probably going to cover that. That's pretty good. It's not the end of the world, but it's just one of those oversights where I thought, how did I miss that? But of course, until you've finished doing everything and you've built up to everything everything on your to-do list, that's when your brain goes, hey, this I did notice that thing 4 weeks ago where I put it in a memo on your desk. Didn't you see it? It's like, and your brain goes, why didn't somebody tell me about this memo?
I said self.
So, yes, exactly. So it's one of those crazy situations. So there was that. So that's exciting. I always love getting circuit boards back and testing new circuits and seeing them work. And yep, it's always good fun. More development on the Trexie as usual. Development continues on the Trexie. It's a hard slog at the moment. So that's why I took a bit of a break on the PCB design, but it's all for the business, so that's all good. I got a few things this week. I got something from CME. You're probably all probably guessing what it is, but you're going to actually be slightly wrong. I've got a USB cable here from CME, the witty people, but it's not the one. But it's not the one you think it is. I've actually got the old one. Now I'll explain this. It's not that first of all, I'd like to make a shout out to the wonderful man at CME whose name I forget.
Thomas?
Thomas. No, it might be Thomas. No, I think it was someone else. It was a Chinese man, I think. Malaysian man, Singaporean man.
Singaporean.
Anyway, he immediately, after I put in my order, he immediately sent me an email saying, "Oh, I know we've got a promotion on these MIDI cables, but you've selected a different one. Are you sure that you didn't mean to select a new one?" And I thought, wow, that's amazing attention to detail. So shout out to CME for actually checking customer mistakes before sending orders. That was really good of them.
Is it you too, there, Chris?
It is the U2 MIDI, indeed. And you're correct,
I have
Daren.
one myself.
Do you have one yourself? Excellent. That's good.
Do you two have one, Daren?
We too. And I was going to have it. I was going to say I still haven't found what I'm looking for, so I got my U2.
Oh,
but
no.
But you know what? Bono's on the phone, and
Bono. Yes. I could say something else, but I won't because it's a PC show.
Okay.
But yes. Anyway, the reason I got one
do have some names.
They do.
I'm trying to get to a point here.
It's
the reason
not lemon,
I got one
is
You're the one, Chris.
The reason
going,
I
Chris.
got the actual reason I got one is because I wanted to. It's an affordable cable at its normal price, and I thought I need to test one of these affordable cables with my new Trexie module to make sure I have something I can recommend for people to upload patches with. Nothing beats actually having a port you can say. And I know that these guys are really, really their attention to detail on their MIDI like compliance and accuracy is really up there. So if I can use it as a benchmark, I guess what I'm trying to say. The other thing that happened this week is that this is a busy week for bills for me. Unfortunately, I got my car rego coming in and my car insurance coming in, so it's a bit of a stress on the wallet. So I did the only fiduciary responsible thing and I bought some Eurorack modules.
Yeah.
because
nothing like fiscal
bills, who
responsibility.
cares? I decided on something and I wanted it.
Stuff 'em.
Yes. So hey, I saw my financial advisor last week. That gives me carte blanche to do anything.
What was his name?
It was her, actually.
There's a joke in there.
Yes, there probably is. So what have I done? I've I got the RS9 drum sequencer over there. You can see it over my shoulder. Right, look at that. There it is. There. Yes. Anyway, so I love drum modules and sequencing drums and stuff like that. And I have a few drum modules, but I don't have quite enough. And I have some plans, so I went and bought some drum synthesis modules, starting with...
Oh, now I'm excited.
I got a Bastel. Daren,
Ooh.
I've got a Bastel. A Bastel's coming to me.
Oh, no.
So I'm Basteled up.
Did you get a kit?
No, this is...
Did you get a
and I'll
bench
show you
with it?
why. They don't sell them as kits. And you know how I know? Because look at that. See that potting compound on the circuit board?
Mm.
Behind the... Yes, they're potting their circuits at Bastel. They don't want people snooping. Or maybe it's for thermal.
I've always thought
resistance.
they needed to stay off the pot. I really did.
Oh, stop it, Ranzee. Yes. Anyway, so I got one of these because I looked at a few. I looked at the Iratus Alta Axia or whatever it is, and
Something
obviously
like
obviously the new one coming from Erica Synths, the voice Perkins voice. Perkins, which I'm probably going to still buy down the line because it's very nice as well. But this is the one that the demo of it and the instructions for it and the guy demoing it just clicked for me.
It's
it had
cool,
the right
actually.
sonic. It had the right sonic vibe that I was looking for. I found some of the other ones a bit too aggressive and harsh. This can go aggressive, but it can also go sort of into the medium saturation, punchy area that I some of the other modules I thought were just always just sounding a bit distorted, and I just couldn't quite get into it. Anyway, we all have preferences, don't we? But the other thing I got, and this is probably a little bit, so this module's digital, first of all. Everyone probably knows that, but this module is a digital module. So this is a very compact, very feature-packed, sonically diverse type digital module, doing things like FM and stuff like that, which is kind of what digital's good for. I've also bought one of these. Now, I'm sorry about that. I'll just get the scale right because you can't see what it is. There you go. This is from Blue Lantern. This is the Asteroid Snare Mark II. And yes, it's quite an enormous module for a drum synth. And it just does one. It does snares. But I've always loved the sound of this one. And I've not heard a snare sound as punchy and meaty as this snare does in the analog realm before.
Nothing
So
like a punchy
this
snare.
is... Yeah, so I might be in the minority in terms of people on the show, but I'm trying something different here. But this kind of betrays that I kind of want my cake and eat it too. I like my digital and I love my analog too. So I like to have foot in both camps, and this one's very, very much analog. So yes, so I got some.
I remember we looked at this, didn't we? We looked at this.
I think we probably did.
And I thought it had the old 70s arcade game sort of feel to it.
It is one of those things where I'm not really entirely sort of convinced it was an appropriate name for it, the Asteroid Snare. It is really based on the 606 snare.
Fair enough.
Because I have another module called Astro Noise, and that really, really is asteroid-based electronics. It actually uses like, TTL chips and CMOS chips and stuff like that, and actually does genuinely produce literally game arcade noises. This is just it's kind of inspired. It's kind of a visual style design for an asteroid, for the asteroid sort of name. But I still think it looks nice. It's a very attractive module. So that's all I've got to report this week.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your report. And we'll head down to, I think it's Ian's land. How are you, Ian?
Hey.
How's your week been?
Hello. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good night. Good week. Starts with last Saturday evening when I played at the Froome Brick Block Beats gig, which went down really well. The only thing I didn't factor in was I was going to have to set up in the dark because it was literally pitch black. So it took me about 20 minutes to set the whole thing up. There will be some film because they filmed the whole thing. They've sent me some photographs. They've sent me an audio recording, although I multi-tracked it on the L6. It was a great night. It was really, really good. There were 6 acts on. It's a bit like an EMOM, but not. It was pretty much sold out. I think there was only about three tickets left. Capacity was about 60. The guys who running it were brilliant, really, really friendly, really helpful, and it was a really good night, and I'd love to do it again sometime. So, what else? I've been spending money, as you already know. I bought this. This is Andy's fault, not really, but no. What it was, it was always on my radar, but we finally sorted out my mother's estate, so sorted the boys out with their percentage, and Jane said, "Why don't you get that thing?" I said, "Oh, my mate Andy's just bought the Terror." Well, that's the thing. That's that thing you want in that one. Yeah, she said, "Well, why don't you just buy it?" So I did.
Buy the damn cheap.
Yeah, I did do it. I didn't look at it. I mean, to be fair, I have looked fairly consistently for a deal on it, and Juno in London were doing it just below £1,000, which I thought was a really good price. And then as I was about to order it, they had this little thing, why don't you ask us for a better price? So I did that. I thought, well, there's no harm in asking, and they give me even better price. So yeah, so do that if you're in the UK. Juno, if it says ask for a better price, they will give you a better price. They give me a better price on the Terra and the case. So that was that, and then it didn't stop there because of you lot last week.
Oh my
I've
God!
gone and bought
That's such a bad noise.
He's bought Euro.
I bought Pigments and the Exploration sound bundles, which was about €100.
I don't think you're going to be disappointed, to be honest.
I've only touched the surface of it, obviously, but already I'm thinking I should have had this ages ago. It's brilliant, and for
good.
For what is 49 euros, it was great. And it doesn't stop there.
Ooh.
I bought this.
Hey!
An ocean drum.
Oh,
nice.
I've got one of those somewhere.
Yeah, £6 on TikTok. I've never used TikTok shops before.
TikTok shop.
thought,
I actually made my own. I added BBs to my Baron. I made my own kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, £6. It was great and free shipping. I thought absolutely brilliant. So, so the buying stops there. I aren't buying anything for the rest of the year now. You know that. Well, no, maybe not. I shouldn't say that really. What else happened? We released the Ramshackled album yesterday, and thanks to those that have already bought it. And that's probably, I put a video out on Monday about that. That's it, really. Yeah.
Wow.
So a good week.
Yeah.
And what I am planning to do, I'm playing the Wells Emo at the end of the month, which is about half an hour from me. Whatever happens, I am using the Terra. Don't quite know what I'm doing yet, but I will do. I'm going to do a set for 15 minutes with the Terra and maybe the instrument or whatever else. But so
I reckon you could play it on the audience a little bit with that. I'm going to create some Terra.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Terra firma.
But
you call yourself a terrorist.
Oh yeah, that'll go down well, wouldn't it? As the police come rushing through the door.
Ian's busking in the subway.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Now, who else have we got? We got Andy. How are you, buds?
Hey. Yes. My little baby. Oh, I love this thing. So nice.
Wow.
No, I had fun with it last night. I was messing around finally, making a demo. Yes. I'm beyond help. But I had fun making a live demo last night for the first time with it, and just seeing what I can remember, because I've been watching videos or reading the manual, and it's deep.
You have to do that.
So,
yeah, I've noticed that. And
yes.
Your video was great, Andy. I really enjoyed it watching it this morning.
Thank you. Yeah, I noticed I did kind of hurriedly put it together, and I should have made the Terra a little hotter, but you can hear it. There's some low end stuff that's a little low in it. I'll make sure the next one has a little more volume in it. I just didn't want to distort, because some of the effects, the left side, this little area on the left that has the parameters for filtering and other kinds of stuff, these little brass heads over here, they can do some wicked like timbre changes, that kind of stuff, and you could
sample
easily
that
distort
voice.
if you're not.
Darn already
exactly. If you don't have like a limiter, or you don't have the auto volume thing turned on, it could be a little crazy. So, but no, I was like, again, I already sold on it, like Ian was from day one when I first saw it at NAMM, and but I just tried a bunch of random presets, and just some amazing stuff on this thing.
Yeah.
It's not just some weird esoteric thing, and the cool thing is that I forgot it does microtonal as well. So if you're into experimental stuff and like Harry Partch kind of microtonal stuff, like the 43 tone scale and all that kind of stuff, you can do that on this thing, and you can save the different tone tables. And if you have a preset that has a tone table you don't like, you can import a tone table from another preset. So they thought of all this stuff. It's without a screen, it's pretty much still, it's like the OPZ. You don't need a screen really once you learn how the lights work and some of the chordal functions of keys together and stuff. It's very, very powerful. You can jump around, and I mean, I guess it's a form of menu diving if you think about it, because you are kind of going through the system. But you just memorize it or make a cheat sheet. They actually provide I forgot to show that on the stream yesterday. They have a small cheat sheet, that you can use with it. So it's, but I've just taken some notes with my own, and just figured it out. But look for more to come. There's way more to learn about this guy. It's really lots of fun. Other than that, I've missed hardware jams for 2 weeks because of NAMM and other stuff. I've just been too busy, so I haven't even made any music for a couple weeks. But maybe I'll try it this week. I might even use the Terra. Who knows? Everyone's like, "Oh, Mr. Machina Plus, right?" Yeah. I may just use the Terra. I'm not going to give up a Machina Plus, but I might try something.
Yeah, who cares what they think?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah. But
you're gonna get Mark III when it comes out. Mark III software.
Mark III.
Actually, there was some news about the
Machina Plus is a Mark III. When they tether it, it is a Mark III.
Okay. Maybe I'm offline.
So
anyway, Rance will have the.
So Andy, because you are the only person that I know that has Machina Plus, there is some news that came out, and we're not going to be doing it in the news segment. And I don't know if you know this, but Native Instruments have gone literally out of their way to say, "Hey guys, we have not forgotten about the Machina."
Good.
Like everyone
it's not like
is
the
saying
Force,
that
so
we
they
have.
forgot about everybody.
Yeah. And they were sort of hinting that there's going to be some updates coming very soon for it, and there's some love happening in that sort of world. So I thought you'd be happy
to hear. Thanks. I didn't know. I'm out of the loop on that, so thank you for that. It is an amazing device. It'd be nice if you get a few more NI plugins on it. It has a nice core set of plugins, including Reactor, which is a trippy software. I love Reactor.
Yeah.
But core ones would be nice to have on there that would be considered kind of a given, and I don't know why they didn't include them up till now. There should be memory. The CPU obviously is an issue. You can't just overload with all kinds of effects and too many things at once. If you want to do that, you have to tether it, use it like a Mark III, and then you can go as crazy as you want and also mix it with other VSTs. But it's still a wonderful standalone device, so I love it. And
Indeed.
That's about it. Thanks.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, head over to Daren. Daren, how are you, bud?
A good day. Not too bad. Just damn cold in this. That's why I've got this jacket on here. So yes. So well, I played Stafford last week. I was on the so I was on the show. And the album came out last week. Anyone who doesn't know. This week I've I updated the Force, which didn't solve my problem, but at least the Force is up to date. But since I'm probably not going to do any more updates on it. Other than that, I've just been working on little bits for the album that'll be coming out later in the year. And yeah, I'll say I've not really done a great deal on this week. I think last week was more of a busy week with playing live and getting the album out, and then this week's been sort of more pottering about with stuff.
Well, you're allowed.
I'm quite short and sweet then.
Fair enough, and you're allowed. You've been busy doing other things like getting albums out. I mean, I kind of feel like I don't know if you feel the same, but when there's the aftermath of getting an album out, it's kind of almost like when you've just done something intense for a little while, and then you've got this kind of eerie aftermath where life just goes back to sort of normal routine, and you kind of
a bit more chilled.
Yeah,
it feels like you're in a not that I was actually in a rush to get it out, but you feel as though once you've set your moment to sort of get it out, it sort of like becomes you sort of see it as a goal to finish it for then, but it sort of takes up all your time. So yes, but I mean, I don't spend that much time in the studio when I think about it, because while I'm working, I'm only in it. I mean, I write tracks and stuff for YouTube, which is not always, which is just written for YouTube. I mean, obviously, I'd say about 80% of them are written just for YouTube. There's some that go on over albums, but then there's the album tracks that I work on separately, and the live stuff that I work on separately. normally, but I'm only in the studio like 3 hours. 3 hours max, really, through the week. Each day. That's it. Obviously, Saturday don't do it because we're on here, and then just Sunday. So I don't really spend a huge amount of time in here. It's either work or sleeping or in here.
No one's going to tell you off.
Yeah, other than that.
No one's going to tell you off. Don't worry.
No. But yeah, so that's my week. I've updated the Force. It didn't solve my issue that I had, Ranz. It's still the same.
Yeah.
Which is really annoying.
Can you write to Akai about it?
Other than that, I don't think they're even bothered in the Force, to be honest, are they? It's so weird because the other 2 live sets that I've done are exactly the same way I've done this set, and there's no issues with them. But this one there is, and there's only an issue after, I'd say, the first part of the set's fine, but then after that, it's. I mean, I could play it. It's just when you have a mix MP3, so it's a mixed song. So at the end of an album, they put all the songs together and they mix it on.
Okay.
Yeah, on one MP3, and then sometimes between each track, there's a little tiny when it just stops for a second when it reads the next MP3.
Oh, gap.
It's like a buffer.
Yeah, a gap. It's a bit like that. It's like it buffers, but not as big as you get on that. It's a very I'd say a 16th of a note almost buffer.
Almost imperceivable.
Moving from scene to the next scene.
Yeah. Maybe
really
there might be a way that you could kind of build in some sort of I'm going to go over and head over here for a sec while you're sort of busy pressing buttons down on your Force to launch something else manually. Well, you could kind of do some sort of...
The way I found that I can sort of hide it slightly is... Reverb. You might get a bit bored of it. If I can... Yes, reverb or a bit of delay.
Reverb.
Just hides that buffer.
Yep.
There you go.
Unless it hits...
Smoke and mirrors.
Drumbrute, then it's a bit dodgy. But anyway.
From the expert himself. That's amazing. Right. We should get cracking, I think. We probably need to say a big thank you to everyone who is a supporter of the show. If you see your name here, reach behind you and give yourself a pat on the back. Because you've done well. Probably should update this. And for those who are patrons and also channel members, you will have noticed a shite load of content happening on the channel. So hopefully it's rewarding you. Hopefully. Let us know. I mean, I'm not hearing a lot back. I know people are busy. But, give, poor Ranzee a bit of feedback. Wouldn't mind it.
I'm still getting through all of SynthAddict's streams from NAMM.
Yeah, there's a lot in there.
I've got up to the Buchler and Friends, and I've got to get a bit more through the second part.
A whole year worth of footage there.
It's gonna take.
You see why I'm so goddamn tired after getting back from the things.
I don't know how. Yeah, all that talking and.
Well, anyway,
yes,
we need to scoot along, and we need to say hi to the chatties. Yes, you're all there. It's amazing to have you. Big shout out, obviously, to people like Kent Spong and Wags, because they are channel members, and there's also, there's other people there. And I'll just randomly pick a few people out today, like Marky and Steve Elbows and Steve Smith. Actually, nice to see Steve Smith here, because he did say to me the other day that he has to stay up uber late to watch the show. So big shout out to him, and hope he's doing well. Right. We should cook on into the regular segments, and we'll start off with... You guys are thinking that I'm going to press that button, but instead, I'm going to press this. Oh, indeed. It is Synth Quiz time, and this week we have one for all of you Google searches, because last week Wags proved that you could just pretty much Google search it and it came up straight away. Anyway, the first word for today is the word phrase, and that is going to be your clue for the Synth Quiz today. Still don't have a sponsor for the segment yet. No one's written in. It's like... It really is like reminding me that I live in the most remote city in the world, because it's like, walk out the door and it's like tumbleweed rolling down the road. But yes, it is. We do need a sponsor. Someone, please sponsor the segment. It doesn't have to be something that you have to give a prize. It could just be some software that you could provide or something like that. Anyway, that'd be good. So phrase is your first word. Hope you enjoy it. Letting you know, if you can guess it, you can guess it at any time, just any stage during the show. Jeez, I'm having trouble getting words out tonight. Any stage during the show. And once you've made your first guess, so that's it. Unfortunately, you can't go back and try again. You can, but we'll just ignore it. Anyway, you'll get a couple of more keywords during the show, and you'll have to stick around and watch, because I don't know when I'm going to be inserting those words. It could be in 5 seconds time. You don't know, right? So you're going to have to watch. Anyway.
Oh, you tease.
That's what we do here. I've been watching TikTok. No, let's do this. Indeed, whip it. Thanks to JX3D, that got Ranzee giggling like a little girl all week long.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that. Thank you very much, Mr. Henrik. It's good to be reminded about how funny things are out there in the world. If you go into Discord, by the way, there is a wonderful thing that we do during the week, and that is Discord. There's your link down the bottom, bit.ly/Ranzee Discord. Join us if you haven't already, because we do have a few laughs during the week, and JX3D was the instigator of this laugh, let me tell you. So it deserves a mention. Whip it good, yes.
This is the nice version instead of whippets where you're huffing nitrous, So.
Oh, jeez. The little gas bottles everywhere. Right, next.
Manging.
Damn you, Behringer. Why you got to make those clones so sexy looking?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That is very topical for this week, that one.
Okay.
I have to admit, it is pretty sexy. It is. You should have seen the comments in that meme. It's like, oh, my God. Can't you give Behringer a thumbs up at one stage? Nope, you can't, according to that particular...
I maintain the
Remind me to tell you my Behringer story. I met somebody from Midas the other day. It's very funny.
Okay. Well, we won't do it just yet, but you can do it a bit later.
No, later, yeah.
Okay, cool. We need to get across to Morgan. She's 25, and she's looking for a partner who is not into electronic music. My last two boyfriends would do nothing but make stupid noises with a box full of electronics and wires. If this is you, you need not apply. And then there's, hey, can I get your ex's numbers? They sound like blast. I love it. Morgan, don't look so disappointed.
Yes, it's a good boy.
That was a great meme, that one. I shouldn't insert my influence into the show. Anyway, I've put in like 3 reams of paper, but it keeps saying I just can't get enough. I just can't get enough. Well, here's your problem. It was stuck in Depeche Mode.
I like that one.
It's much better than PC Load Letter. So.
Chatties, let us know your favourite meme. I don't actually have a drum cymbal thing, but yeah, some of these memes kind of make me go.
I'll synthesize you one.
It's got to be the Depeche Mode, surely.
Ooh, is it the Depeche Mode?
Just for me.
Well, you're not everyone, but that's all right.
But that's true. That is true.
I am.
But I am. But my opinion's the only one that counts. I'm not supposed to say that.
I love it. It's good.
Only joking, kids.
Indeed. What do you think we got, boys? What's Daren? You're on top of the chat right now. I can see it. You look like you're studying it.
I think it looks like
Depeche.
Depeche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Martin's won it. Did you guys see the interview with Martin and that guy who does? He's like a YouTuber that does languages. He's into all. He's like a bilingual or multilingual, I should say, not bilingual. Bilingual's only 2. He's definitely multilingual. This guy, and he went to school with Martin from Depeche.
Okay.
And there's a YouTube. You should guys check it out because there's some synthy stuff in there. Oh yeah. There's a lot of Eurorack in there. just to look at.
I know the video you're talking about now.
Yeah, it's a good one.
The wall. Yes.
The wall of Eurorack. It holds the roof up, apparently.
Yeah.
We're going to go with D.T.H. Yeah, Daren, you can make the final call on that.
Yep.
All right, D.T.H. it is.
I might as well because whatever I put wouldn't come up anyway. My vote never gets there.
you just can't get enough, Daren. That's the problem.
He just enjoys the
fell into the hole. All right, shall we hit this button? We shall. Time for some music, and then time for some news. That was quick, wasn't it? Quick music and then a bit of news. I did promise you guys last week that I would talk about the other CME product, which is the H2 MIDI Pro by CME. These are the witty guys. Take a drink. They definitely are. Let's give them a bit of love because they've been making some interesting stuff out there. That is for sure. Now, if you guys have been on Discord, you would have noticed that there was some cool little links pasted into Discord, and those cool little links were stuff that gives you the ability to purchase these things cheaply with their little run-out sale that they've got. Rollout sale. Anyway, what is the H2 MIDI Pro? It is a compact USB MIDI host interface with advanced routing, filtering, and mapping, and it connects up to 8 MIDI devices, and you can merge signals and you can configure everything by the little free HX MIDI tool software which CME provides you. At the moment, you can pick this up for $29.99 US schmackaroonies, which is a $20 savings.
Yeah.
And you can act fast because it is a special offer. And then that offer is for everyone in the world, except here's another offer: UK, US, EU, as in European Union. That includes the UK is separate, so that doesn't include the UK. But Canada, Japan, and Australia, there is no shipping costs if you buy this stuff. So that is an awesome thing. So not only are you saving $20 US, you're also saving a lot of Malula bars on the fact that you're not paying for shipping.
And it comes
pretty cool.
Comes quick to hear, doesn't it, Rance?
Very quick to hear because they're in Singers.
Very quick to hear.
They live in Singers.
It was literally
just
sitting
up the road.
on my doorstep. Mine was literally sitting on a package on my doorstep today.
Wow. There you go.
And I only ordered it on like Thursday or something.
And I will say the good thing about the little software, to reorganize it
to Australia.
It works on even very old. Well, I say very old systems. Even my 2015 Mac on the original OS Sierra still can run that. And a lot of things
love
don't
class
now,
compliance.
So that's...
Oh, you got to love class compliant. I mean, that's the cool thing about it. Yeah. So, having said that, Daren, your brain should immediately be thinking that will plug into my Akai Force without any problems at all.
And I already have one in my Akai Force. I play live.
There you go. There's
Not this particular one, but I have a CME MIDI plugged in on the live.
Yep. Well, the last one we showed last week was the cable, right? Mm-hmm. And which is the C2 MIDI Pro. And this week we're showing this box. So the difference between the cable and the box is kind of where people are sort of like, I'm getting confused. It's all MIDI to me. It's all gobbledygook MIDI to me. Well, the difference is this one's got a lot more connectivity to it. That's really the big difference.
And hosting.
Yeah, well, they both host.
Yeah.
Yep. So they're both standalone devices that way. But yeah, interesting. Anyway,
what was the price on this one again?
$29.99 US dollars.
Oh, that's so cheap compared to the Kenton one I always buy. The Kenton host.
Yeah,
really
hell
cheap.
yeah. And the Kenton one's passive as well.
I've had the Kentons,
which can be a pain.
Actually, I love the Kenton. It solved a lot of problems for me, but they're like $150 usually. So
exactly. Yeah. Anyway, give CME some love because some love. Why not?
Yeah. I've got the cable as well, like Chris. In fact, actually, that might be going to be used for the iPad.
Babs,
as well.
Answering your question, go to Ranzee.com and click on literally the latest article. The second latest article, and I've just remembered there's a new one out there. It's the second article on my. It's basically if you go to my front page of my website, it's literally the second article. and it's in there like Flynn. There's actually links to both of those in there. Right, Ranzee.com, easy one to remember. Next. How about this? Eh?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, indeed. Indeed, oh yeah. What can we talk about this, hey? Why is that?
If you haven't got those sounds, buy it. It's great.
Well, I mean, drum machines at the moment coming out of Behringer, let's be honest, right? The LM drum sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. And this also sounds amazing. Like, I have to say that I was watching the video. I'm sure you guys have watched the video.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, geez, you know, how many people did we listen to in the 80s with the CR-78, and, you know, we just like oogled over those little drum machines, right? Well, it sounds exactly like it. So, I mean, I don't really know how we can get angry with Behringer. Let's have a listen.
Well, it's been a great start to the year where Behringer drum machines are concerned, and the collection ain't finished growing yet. Introducing a funky little reproduction of one of the earliest of vintage drum machines. It's the RD-78.
All right, should we leave it there? We'll pop Chris back up because I feel like he just feels lonely when he's not included in the... Anyway, RD-78, sorry, I should say, I just about said CR-70, is based on the classic Roland CR-78. It does offer vintage analog rhythmy type sounds with modern enhancements, making it ideal for us who really wanted to have a CR-78. I kind of feel like it's probably going to tick the boxes. However, there is 14 authentic drum tones, including kick, snare, rimshot, cowbell, where's Wagoo, hi-hats, cymbals, congas, bongas, tambourines, and guiros, or guiros if you're from another part of the world. Enjoy the voice with a tune control, allowing for full pitch adjustments, enhanced creative flexibility. The RD-78 includes a comprehensive sequencer with pattern memory, enabling users to craft and store their own rhythms. The design incorporates the original analog circuitry, including coils and LC filters, to ensure the authentic sound experience. Would love to see the guts of this thing, let me tell you. So,
they won't pot it.
the only other thing I will mention that kind of I didn't sort of really sort of think about it until I started writing the notes on this thing was I felt this thing has a well, I don't like using this word, but I'm going to because I know it'll just trigger a lot of people. I think it has a warm, nostalgic sound. And when I say warm, I don't mean warm as in like it's some analog filter that makes it sound warm. I think it means warm as in it kind of warms you to that nostalgic sound. That's what I mean by that. You'll feel familiar. That's the warmth I'm talking about.
Evocative might be the word you're looking for.
Maybe.
That's what I think. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're allowed. You're allowed to think.
Excellent.
Yeah. Who knows the price of this, by the way? I actually don't know the price.
I do. Well, I do in the UK anyway. It's £139 in Gear for Music, but they won't have stock until August. But I do believe Anderton's may have it sooner, like March.
Yeah, Anderton's usually get it in before.
Yeah. They're the main Behringer dealer out there for the UK. That's probably why.
Australian dollars, if people are wondering, I thought it was around the $500 mark. I thought. What is it called again?
460.
Yeah. It's not showing up yet in the Australian stores. No.
But I thought it was somewhere near the TD3 MO price, which is going for about $329 at the moment. So
yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, it's
I mean, that's insane.
So maybe 3.
Yeah, Anderson's is £10 more, 159 in the UK.
It's still really good though.
Yeah,
I mean,
they are expecting 3rd of March.
If it's 300 Aussie, it's dirt cheap, isn't it?
Yeah,
eh?
yeah, it is.
Yeah, that is cheap, guys. Like honestly, if it
hard not to buy, isn't it?
If it really peeves you off that Behringer are making, let's not use the word clone because really it's not a clone. It looks nothing like a CR-78.
Yeah.
It's basically it's a rendition, isn't it, of a CR-78? It's a modern rendition.
Yeah. And they've done a bit more with this than some of their other products, so they should be applauded for at least. I think they've marinated on this a bit and actually done a better job. Some of those ones they've done, they've phoned in, but this one,
I
reckon they've hit some kind of sweet spot.
Indeed, they have.
And when they do,
Chris, you can even talk to the chatties while you're there. I noticed there was a few comments in the chat as we were talking and stuff, showing things. Yeah. So it's 164 chuffs from Toman. There you go. If you're into the Swiss dollars, that's how much that is. Yeah. I wonder what will spawn from this though. This is the question, right? If they've CR-78 this thing, now technically, knowing a little bit about the CR-78 and how they developed the sounds that came out of it, Roland used a lot of cool little features with tricks with envelopes, tricks with filters, and that's basically to try and get some of those cool sounds that you just take for granted, right? I just wonder where they're going to go with this. Whether there's going to be, instead of it being a remakey type drum machine, maybe they might do a drum machine in the size of the TR or the RD9 size, I should say, because they're using this RD name, and they could do some sort of modern hybrid, like a Drumbrute Impact sort of style, but using some of these knowledgeable analog circuitries that they've been able to recreate them, so they mustn't be too bad.
Don't push it. Look, you mean they're going to make something entirely for themselves?
Just wait till they copy the Rhythm Wolf will be the film.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
Poor Akai.
Yeah.
Well, I have heard it said that the circuits in the CR-78 are closest thing to black magic that there is in electronics.
So there is some bizarreness.
As to whether the Behringer engineers actually understand what circuits they've recreated and how they work, and therefore can take that knowledge forward, is a bit of a crapshoot. I don't know.
Yeah.
They may have just gone, right, yeah, we did this, but when we changed that, it didn't sound the same. Okay, put it back the way it hasn't. Well, why have we done this? Why have we used a different component? We don't know, we take it out and it doesn't work properly anymore. But you're an engineer, you should understand this. Japanese, early Japanese analog. I have heard that kind of take on it before. It's a funny thing. Dark arts, alchemy in the early Japanese drum machines.
Well, some of the problems they had with some of these machines is they made them with parts that you can no longer get, and
there's a lot of bespokey type parts in it. Yeah,
I remember reading something that Yuli wrote in one of his blog posts, and he was kind of making this really big sort of point about, hey, one of the things that Behringer have got the ability to do, and that is remake parts that are no longer accessible. And I just wonder how much that happens. Like, is there any of those sort of magic remade parts in this? Because he did talk about LC filters and coils, but I mean, LC filters and coils you can get from anywhere.
They're
really
conventional,
right? But are they specifically something that needed to be remade, or is it just a grab it off the Mauser price list sort of thing?
Well, the technology to make
like
them
clone
simple.
bingo, but it gets harder and harder.
I reckon it does.
It's getting harder and harder.
Yeah,
making something more.
Anyway, Chatties seem to be giving it a thumbs up. I believe they've been all over it.
I mean, let's face it. If you haven't got those sounds, I know you can get them off the internet, but if you haven't got them, for 160 quid, it's fantastic, really. I've got them in the TR8S, so I don't need this, but
and I've got them in the TR6S. But the problem with the TR6S, of course, is it doesn't have all of the sounds at once.
No.
Because it's only got 6 channels, so this is a little bit more attractive to me because I only have a 6-channel TR. But I don't think I'm going to buy it until it comes down in price, like they're doing a deal.
And it will.
Stage. It does sound ace. It does sound ace, or should that be ace tone?
I like that. Big drum happening at the same time.
That was just for you, Rance. I thought of that this afternoon. Just for you.
I always forget the name of that. Whenever I need to know the name of Acetone, because I'm talking to someone about Roland and the history, I always forget Acetone. And I'm like, what would they used to be called? What is Acetone? It's one of those names that kind of escapes your brain. In a way, I kind of actually like the name Acetone more than Roland.
Yeah, I wonder if they bring it back.
Yeah. I mean, it's better than friggin' some of their other brand names that they brought out over the years, like 80 Roll. That one's always got me laughing. I mean, was there a guy in like marketing? His name was Eddie.
Well, I mean, the real problem is both Roland and Edirol are very hard for Japanese native speakers to say.
Oh, I think exactly. That's why it used to make me laugh. That's the exact reason why it used to make me laugh, because you can imagine someone in the Japanese marketing department at Roland trying to say 80 Roll. Sorry, I'm having too much fun with that.
It's like they graphically designed the name and then went pronounced it how they thought, and then someone came along and told them, no, you'd pronounce it this way. It's like, oh, that's really hard. I didn't think of that. It looked really good on paper. Oh well, committed now.
See, we talk about the most important things on the show.
We talk about in-depth stuff on the show.
Yeah. Just let the kid come out. Anyway, we should move on to the next thing. This is actually not a new product, but I don't think we've talked about it. This is the Kaleidoscope by this guy called Vadim Minkin, who's actually, I don't know if you guys know, he's actually one of the designers from Soma. So that's who's behind this. Now, when he does release this, if he does ever release this, it's going to be under his name. It won't be a Soma product. Anyway, what is this? I mean, this thing's been floating around in, I think, Electronauts forums and all sorts of places. You can find actually posts on this probably for about 2 years now. So I just thought, for 2 reasons, we haven't shown it, and the second one is, let's give him a bit of a rocket up his butt and get him to release it, because it's actually pretty cool. All right, let's have a look at the vid. There's a bit of coolness in the vid.
Yeah.
There's a couple of videos now. I probably shouldn't play that for too much longer. It kind of does go on a little bit similar sort of route. But anyway, what is it? It's a generative type synthesizer. You probably would have noticed that there's 4 voices down the bottom. But what it does is, and the screen kind of gives it away. You've got these knobs underneath the screen. If I can move his hand out of the way, you'll see it better. That's a great shot, that one. There you go. And they generally apply to the columns on the screen above it, and that's kind of the feel. A lot of manufacturers have done this before, but it is capable of making sort of vast range of timbres, from drums to percussions to basses to leads to pads to noise. So it's kind of an everything thing, but I feel it tends to be sort of more stronger on the drone side and on the kind of grungy sort of overdriven, noisy sort of cool timbres, that sort of stuff, which tends to be quite popular at the moment with a lot of sound designers. It's got subtractive, additive, FM, physical modeling, all built into it, so you can access all that stuff. And instead of focusing sheerly on what modules there are and quantity and internal complexity, it just sort of emphasizes more on the dynamic interaction between the sounds and the tracks that you can make with the pages and that sort of stuff. There's envelopes and modulators in here that enables things like parametric cross modulation, side chains, and advanced FM synthesis. And you can also do things like because it's digital, you can do sort of weird sort of crunchy, glitchy sort of stuff, but at the same time you can also do really very analog sounding stuff on here too, because it does have a subtractive engine in it. Anyway, it'll be USB powered, USB-C powered, I believe, at the back, and it's got MIDI into it, and it enables for multi-tracking output. It does have 4 mono separate outputs on the back, and you can also access this multi-timbrally through a MIDI controller as well. So that's it. The Generative Groove Box by Vadim Minkin, who's the guy from Soma, and it's called Kaleidoscope. Thoughts, guys? Who's seen it?
No, I haven't.
Wow.
Any idea how much it's going to cost?
No idea, and that's the thing. We want this guy to step up and put this thing on the market, because it looks friggin' cool, doesn't it?
It looks great. I think, yeah,
it's lovely. I like it.
Love the
sleek sort of brushed aluminium type of steel type aesthetic. It's nice, and there's that lovely green screen.
Yep,
the screen is great. It's so retro.
It's lovely.
Indeed.
It's just one of those products that look really cool, but just not out there yet.
Yep. By the way, that blog article link that you can see below, this is for people that don't know, does have links to his Instagram channel, and you can go watch the rest of his videos. This is the guy that's making this thing, and you could probably even hit him up and message him and ask him, hey, what's going on? What do we need to do, mate, to get this thing onto the market? Because I reckon it'll be a good, interesting answer coming out of him. He's probably just busy working for Soma. That's probably what the story is.
Yeah. In truth. Yep.
Yeah. What are Chatties saying about it? Indeed. Maybe James, I should say, is probably on the money there. Maybe that some of the issue with it is because they are Russian, and there is a bit of an embargo with the country at the moment, with the Western world. Not the entire Western world, I should say. There's certain blocks. I mean, Russians can freely come to Australia. There's no problems there. But yeah, like the US is probably. And
most of the European Soma stuff is made in Poland.
Yeah, in Warsaw.
I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Indeed, it is.
Facilities.
Which is a good place to do it, isn't it? Because they're next door, basically. They're next door to not quite, but they are next door to Poland, and they used to run the place for a bit. But that's gone back a bit. We won't get there. Get some people upset. Right. Well, that's the Kaleidoscope. Yeah.
Nice.
Next.
We are intrigued.
Why don't we have a look at this? I mentioned before at the start of the show that I was going to show you guys some free software. Well, this, my friends, is 100% free. This is by a company called Full Bucket Music. This is called the Paralogy, and it is a Kruma synth recreation for your VST, for your DAW, if you like. And I've installed it because it's free. And
like a Spirit from our Spirit, or is it?
Why the hell not? Let's get rid of Chris because we don't like him anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Okay, so
space, bandwidth.
I don't know a lot about Krumas, and this thing kind of, I've seen Krumas, I've listened to them, I've a million, songs I've got them in them and things like that. But personally, it's not really a synth that I've spent a lot of time on personally. So this is one of the reasons why I think this is a cool bit of software to get, because it kind of gets you a little bit of insight into the way that those synthesizers, I should say, work. And they are a little bit quirky, I have to say. But anyway, having said that, there's some cool little sounds in here, like why do we have sounds coming out of the other thing? Why don't you turn that off? So obviously this thing's got a whole bunch of effects, it's got phases and delays, it's got all that stuff's built into it. In fact, we should probably zoom in a little bit for you guys so you can see it a bit clearer. So yeah, but the other cool thing about it is you can turn that stuff off. Like if you don't want to have the phaser or you don't want the delay, you can turn all that sort of stuff off. And you can use your own effects if you want. But I actually thought these effects sounded pretty good. Like, and you can turn them all sort of on and off however you want. And the other thing too is they've got a stack of patches in here. Which you can just go through and I mean, that sounds very Rolandy, that patch, doesn't it? Kind of nice. And then, little resonant sort of sounding synth. Quite well done, I think. Very nice sounding stuff. And you get some stone phase strings. Let's find something like, there's cheese. Get some cheese into you guys.
It's not Wensleydale.
Anyway, that's the kind of this is the Kruma experience I was talking about, because they are kind of organ sort of sounds, weren't they, originally? And then they sort of a bit like Elka did some similar things, Elka. And they branched into synths, and they kind of brought the two together. And I feel that sort of organ and synth in one is a cool idea, because it hasn't been done for a while, and I feel like we've forgotten about it. And we just saw those Nord products just come out recently with the organs in it. Organs are still very, very popular in the music industry. Like people love
absolutely
Rhodes and Wurlitzers and all that sort of stuff. They love all that sort of sound, right? So what cool idea bringing them together. And these companies were doing it in the 70s and 80s. Let's bring that back. And this is a great little VST. Yeah. Thoughts, guys?
I had my first piano was a Kruma Roadrunner, which wasn't a brilliant piano, but it was, it's what I could afford at the time. I used to use that, I couldn't afford a Kruma organ. I used a Farfisa organ, but this is great for free. I mean, it's free. What's not to like?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's amazing what you can get for free these days. What free plugins are these days compared to what free plugins 20 years ago was. We used to, I love it, got a free Moog plugin. Oh, like one of those early Moog plugins that was just emulated the front panel and the principles and went, there you go, done.
The ones that don't work anymore.
Yeah, the ones that don't work anymore. But just the quality now of what they put out is, we're spoiled. Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, bring this out in some hardware, guys. This is cool. So yeah. Anyway, enjoy this, guys, because I know, like, I would not be surprised if 90% of you guys watching the show would run off and get this right now. It takes 2 seconds to download and install. That's for sure. Big thumbs up to Full Bucket Music. I would give you some money for it, guys. Honestly, I seriously would. I think it's worth some dollars. So,
donation.
Yeah,
you'll probably have a donation.
Can you donate?
Look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, give them some love if you can. Cool. All right. Anyone want to add anything before we move on to the next? Fair enough. Because I got this kind of sound just then. Yes,
you did.
Right. Next is this, the Drumbrute Impact from Arturia, and look, paint job, anyone?
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, really, that's what this is, right?
Paint job upgrade kit.
Oh, look, let's give Arturia. Arturia don't like giving me any love, but I'm happy to give them some love. Let's give them some love. If you hadn't wondered, they are the sounds from the Drumbrute.
Kick drum I recognised. Sound. Wasn't sure how they were generating that because I thought it was just a repeat fill that they were using, but then it got up to 128th
audio rate type stuff. Yeah,
exactly. How does it does look nice. It's definitely I think it's definitely an improvement on the colour scheme from the original.
The black one or blue one.
It's like a blue grey, isn't it? It's a blue grey.
It's a blue grey, yeah. It's kind of a bluey grey. This kind
I used to own a Drumbrute.
Slightly more. This is the Impact though.
I never owned an Impact, but
similar.
I got rid of my Drumbrute because I didn't use it enough, and I thought when I want to have one again, I will buy one because they're pretty easy to get.
Yeah.
These products. Anyway, paint job and re-releasing something. I don't really know why they do this, but
it is still weird.
Fashion.
Why they do it?
It's like, hey guys,
have a history
don't
of
forget
it,
about my product. By the way, let's get it. Well, they do. They do special editions all the time, don't they?
Exactly. They did the Black Series, and they've done that pretty much of everything they've ever put out. Sometimes they rush to the
Microbrute versions, wasn't it? Different versions of the Microbrute.
Yeah, the little Microbrute had like canary yellow.
Yeah.
And baby blue. It's like bad 80s knitted jumpers, wasn't it, Chris? When we went to school, we had those knitted jumpers.
Not Kylie Kwong, she was cool. No, Ken Doan, Art. 80s style.
It is.
There's always pastels on bright
pastels.
white sweaters.
Yeah. Well, you're not allowed to say what.
Robbie's saying it's $299. It's cheaper than that, Rob. It's $242 at Juno in the UK.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cheap, isn't it?
It's a good, fun little drum machine. Well, it's not little. It's actually.
I enjoy the original Drumbrute. It just has an anemic kick on it. Otherwise, it's really cool.
No, this kick is way different to the other Drumbrute.
This is.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I know. I've heard a lot of the tracks made with it, but I still like the original. It just has the kick sucks.
Yeah, the kick did.
But it has more channels, more control surface. It's actually fun. The original is kind of fun.
The only thing that a lot of people, and this is an obvious design that Arturia have made with this, is the fact that you can't actually patch all the states of all the knobs and stuff on it. So it's one of those
there's
types
quite a
of
few
drum machines where you've got to adjust things.
Yeah, direct analog without any CV control.
I don't know why.
So,
I'm actually. Can anyone explain that to me? Why, in this day and age, with the digital control technology that we've got, why are we doing that still? Why is it? Does it take the cost down? Is it
retro,
that?
Yeah.
Is it retro? I mean, do we really want it?
Yeah.
Well, it does.
Well, the Terra, the only thing analog on the Terra is the volume knob. Everything else is digital. So
yeah.
There's a kind of an investment thing if you have a sufficiently high-end CPU that you've optimized for doing digital control, you invest in that particular CPU because that's what it's got. It's got lots of DAC channels. But in this case, they might be using a CPU that doesn't have a lot of DAC channels, and that's really allowing them to put more money into other parts of the circuitry, so they've gone that way. So it could just be a design balance thing. There's with unlimited money, there's no excuse for anything but the most advanced electronic musical instruments you can possibly afford, or not afford, as it were. If there's no budget, then there's really nothing you can't do. You can CV everything.
It's cheap too. It's really cheap.
You've actually got to create something that's.
It's about a $500 drum machine for us, Chris. Yeah. Just a quick one.
Yeah, it cost me about $450, I think.
The next keyword or code word for the synth quiz is physical. You had to be paying attention. I'm not going to repeat it either. So there we go. Right. More stuff. Yeah, more stuff. This one's for Andy. Andy, this is an iPad app.
Oh, nice.
This is by a company called Fingerlab, and they actually made a drum thing before called the DM1, and this one's the DM10.
Yeah, I have the DM1.
This is available now for pre-order. You can't actually use it just yet. It's $14.99 Aussie dollars. It'd be $8 something or other US.
Yeah,
something like that. 7 or 8 pounds, I think it is. Anyway, it is a drum machine, and it's a synth machine as well. It's like a little sort of groove boxy thing in there. It's a sequel of the famous DM1, as I mentioned. Actually, the DM1 won an Apple Design Award in 2012, so people liked it.
Yeah, that's cool.
It is... So it's got everything that has, plus it's got some new features like bass and leads, audio unit support, polyrhythms in tracks, new effects modules, and many, many more things. And it's also retro compatible to the DM1 stuff that you've created in the past. And the thing about that is because they stopped sort of developing the DM1, this is now the thing that you're going to use. What can I tell you about specs wise? It is, iPad, right? So 170 drum kits, vintage and classics, acoustics, percussions, hip hop, electro. It's got 10 instruments, piano, vibraphones, Wurlitzers. It's got bass synths with 3 VCOs, with bit crushing and detune and envelopes. It's got lead synths with 2 VCOs, with low pass filters and vibratos. It's got 4 bass and lead factory presets. Sorry, 40 I should say, not 4. Drum and synth step sequences with variable step count, sequencer with accents and triplets, track polyrhythm support, as I mentioned before, drum pads with customizable layouts. It's got a synth board. There's a couple of different photos floating around. I just couldn't grab them all. There's FX. There's real-time automations with that stuff. There's time signatures, real track names, randomizing tools. It just goes on and on and on. And that's like, what did I say it was? It was about £8. When you think about it, I mean, this is just dirt cheap. It sounds really, really cool. Andy, do you remember the DM1? What were your thoughts on it?
It's been a while. I mean, I literally have like 300 music apps on my iPad. So,
yeah, fair enough.
I used it a bunch when I first got it, and then, look at this. Look at this. So, all right, eventually circle back around.
He saw a squirrel.
Let's have a look at
the squirrel. Yeah.
Basically.
There we go. Indeedy, wordy, yaddy, yaddy. Right, that was pretty cool. I think I might get that. One of the things I like about the iPad as a musician's surface is that it's multi-touch. It's multi-touch, which means like it's a bit more like a real-life piece of hardware.
More like hardware.
Yeah.
Kind of somewhat delivers on that.
It's just missing the tactile. You can't do muscle memory as easily because you can't feel it. But
and they've tried to get around that with some vibrating feedback sort of features and things like that. But that's all right.
Yeah,
they're allowed. Andy, I mean, there's not a lot to show in that video, but does that kind of float your boat? That sort of thing?
Oh yeah, I love all that stuff. I use that one a bunch. Actually, later on, there's another one that has nothing to do with this, but there's another one that came out called Beat Hawk. It's really cool. The drum machine is really good. So there's so many drum machines for iPad. It's not even funny.
There is.
I know.
But this is nice.
Yeah, and we don't show a lot of iPad stuff on the show. So why not?
Well, we did that show a long time ago. The showcase, that was fun.
That was awesome, wasn't it? We probably need to do
another one sometime if you want to do one.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you really love doing that sort of stuff, Andy. So the only problem with it is, for me, you're like a million times ahead of me on what's happening with the iPad. So you're going to have to run basically with it, and I'll just be I'll be the grasshopper in the corner.
You can be the naysayer, right? That's not very good. Well, here's an example. Here's the iPhone version of it. Hold on. It's a little more simple.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Multi-die freaks.
Yep.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice. I mean,
so it's a cool little thing, and it's on your phone too.
I like the idea of sometimes you just want to have a little drum machine that's near you, portable, and sometimes I just find they're not that good. Like they're trying to be too much.
Right.
Like I can name names. I don't want to, but I've had plenty of apps before, and I just find them a bit convoluted. And you just want to just lay down some. Yeah.
So pretty cool.
Yeah. All right. Some love in the chat. Some iOS love. That's good. Next is, I think, the last thing. Oh, how come that didn't work? Oh, I know why that didn't work. We might have to do that. And there we go. There's our last little cab off the rank. This is the Elka SynthX remake by Behringer, the STX. Okay. But there's some sounds. Let's have a listen. Indeed. There you go. No price or anything yet on this. It's kind of just really more of a teaser video than anything, I feel. Yeah. Would you guys get it?
No.
Over the wave?
No, not for me.
Yeah?
No, it doesn't. It wasn't very impressive to me. But then again, I'm not interested in synths, in string synths really. But no, not for me. At any price.
Yeah. Just one thing. I mean, you guys have known about this Elka SynthX for years, and you guys know that it's kind of like it's more of a hybrid synth than an analog synth, right? It's digitally created oscillators, and
Kent went into a whole long thing at the pub one time about how it's generated and stuff. That was pretty wild.
It is pretty wild.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like what Elka did is they tried to bring some of that when they made it. They tried to bring some of that sort of organ. We were talking about organs before, the Cremar stuff, right? Because they have that organ history with them, so they brought that sort of ensemble chorus into it, and in a way that really just thickened up a lot of that sort of digital sort of sound that it got. And it kind of made it sound a lot more analog. But on top of that, you also had the filters, which were analog, right? And so it's kind of an interesting take on a synth. And anyone that's ever owned an Elka SynthX will know, like, once they've gotten past the Jean-Michel Jarre factor of it, and they've played Laser Harp 50 times and they're kind of sick of that and they've moved on, it kind of does kind of lackluster a bit. When like
it's
today,
very simple, isn't it?
Yeah. What's out? I mean, what's out today? This is not a criticism of the synth at all, because in the day it was very good. But what's out today? There's a lot of synths that will just crap on this in terms of its ability. I mean, you can get an Ovation Peak to sound like an Elka SynthX, if you know what you're doing in the Novation Peak. So just when you guys are looking at this stuff, all I'm sort of saying is just be careful about the reminiscing value of
do it with your eyes open, go in with your eyes open.
What this is actually really is, and what can you do with something that you've already got, maybe.
However, Paolo Synthmania did a video many years ago when he got one finally. He saved up to get one. And he's an Italian guy. He wants an Italian synth.
Yeah, I know Paolo, yeah.
And he did a great video on it. It sounded amazing.
Yeah, well, you
could probably recreate it with stuff, but
he's a good person to sort of get stuff in the hands of, right?
Definitely,
yeah. I don't know, like I kind of feel like it's a hard one for me, because I've always wanted an Elka SynthX personally, but he's one that's gonna, almost be the same. I don't know how he's going to get past Mario Maggio, because he's been quite vigorous with other people trying to remake the SynthX in the past, and there's been threats of legal stuff and all sorts of things like that happening. And then he was also on the idea of recreating a digital version of one, and that kind of never came to fruition either. So if you look at the history of the whole Elka SynthX and it coming back to life, it's been interesting. So how's Behringer going to get around Mario? Probably, I don't know, they'll just hide in China or something, I guess. But
did the software versions get flack from him?
Well, that's the thing. Like I've always wanted to know this. If the Zills Labs guys are watching, because I know they do sometimes, I know they had to change the name of their VST SynthX emulation, and I don't know whether it was because someone sent him a nasty email named Mario. So there's nothing. Look, I don't have anything against Mario, by the way. I think he's awesome, but and he's just protecting his IP, right? But look, there's an ethics thing, and then there's a reality thing, and you got to kind of, when business is business, it's about making money. Ethics sometimes doesn't come into play, and this is kind of what Behringer do. They tread on the ethics toe quite hardly with their sprigs.
They don't give a rat's ass about intellectual property or any of that kind of stuff. So
yeah. So if you don't really care about ethics, and at the same time you're sitting in your home studio, and you can do this get off my lawn type ethics sort of stance, but would someone do it for you? Would be my question.
Yeah.
If you come up with an idea, like Chris, you're probably going to be the closest person to this happening than any of us. If you came up with an idea, Chris, and then you accidentally sort of showed a picture on my show, and then off they went.
You could develop faster than I can.
I know it's going to piss you off. It would piss me off.
But it's also my attitude's a little bit more fatalistic about these things. I usually go, well, maybe they were thinking about it. I'd probably give them the benefit of the doubt and say, some people have the same idea at the same time, and two people.
But that's because you're a nice guy.
Until it's incredibly close, right? You see how incredibly close it is.
You think the best of people.
No, but there's going to be, I guess it's going to be situations like that maybe one day where it's going to be like, you just literally copied that. But it's not going to feel great, but especially
the Moog filter
if that
got
person
copied,
makes a lot of money off it.
But I think I got trouble for copying that.
Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned on the show, but if Behringer ever deigned to copy something of mine, I'll consider myself to have made it, and I'll be die happy.
Yeah.
You know what? Like, I would probably be the same, Chris. I would just say to them, like, guys, I don't mind. You can have it, but just give me a credit somewhere so that
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
I get some sort of benefit out of this. Don't just throw me out with the bathwater. Give me some credit.
Well, Housse just said that Uli said that they build a margin for any legal fees into the price of each product. Which
I don't know if he's being tongue in cheek there or not, but they probably
exactly.
They pretty much do that.
It's called risk mitigation, and it's part of every business above a certain scale. They have to, the designers would not be aware of that part of the budget.
No.
They wouldn't know.
How about taking
about
real risks and making things of their own?
Oh, how many times do we say that?
Every show.
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's every show.
It would sell. If it's a good synth, it would sell.
Daren's got that saying on speed dial. Haven't you, Daren?
Well, because even the Neutron DM12 are fairly original. They have things that are like other things, but they're pretty original, right? DM12 is not a Juno.
Well, can anyone remember how long ago Behringer started this whole copying, cloning, reproducing thing? How many years has this been going on?
Oh, you can go back to the guitar pedal days. That's how far it
that's where it would start. The guitar pedal, I've got a lot of them over there.
It is an important part of their heritage then. So it's kind of asking a leopard to change its spots.
Oh, yeah.
Nice idea, but will it ever really happen?
I don't criticize them, but I feel like when like for example when they did the Arturia key step clone, I mean those sort of that sort of stuff was
they definitely sync to.
That's just a big slap.
Obvious lows, but
yeah. I don't know how Arturia felt about it. I would say that it's been kept hush hush.
Yeah, the swing was the dumbest thing ever. I mean, come on, it was so blatant. This just.
When you're recreating something that hasn't been in production for a long time, like the CR-78, like we showed before, the RD-78. To me, that's not too bad. I don't have a problem with that. If Roland have gone out and said we're not creating analog ghosts and all this sort of stuff, they've basically set sail into the digital realm, and that's what they want to do. So I don't know how much grief he's had with Roland. I know that there was a bit of flack about the color scheme on the RD-8, which was this TR-808 drum machine, and they had to change the colors. So there's a few things that Roland don't want you to do, and those things might still be patented or copyrighted.
Trademarks and brands, which is pretty typical of any multinational.
But other than that, I don't think they really care. They don't really give a toss. And I think I've proven also, one of the things that I ages ago when we first started doing the show, Daren, you might remember, we started looking at the SH101 prices because we knew Behringer were making the clone.
Yeah, we had when it was about to come out, you had the two things, didn't you? Keeping track of the original, and when it came out, whether it was going to make any difference, which it didn't do, did it?
It didn't make any difference. Not a brass razoo, as they say in the classics. But
it's like Mark Verbos copies all that Buchla stuff, and he doesn't get any flack for it, from what I can understand. So,
well, it's like, one of my mates in California who remade mutable instrument stuff like right from the early days, and no one ever screamed at him. It's because
that was at least open source stuff, right? So
it was all open source stuff, and Emily allowed it, so it wasn't.
Exactly.
It wasn't.
As long as he followed the license conditions that she laid out, it was kind of pretty much accepted.
So I mean, getting back to the Sticks STX, I think you're going to call it Sticks. I'm calling it Sticks. I feel that's stuck.
There's a band called Sticks.
It's the grand illusion, like Sticks, right? Sticks. So.
STYX. Yeah.
I kind of feel like there'll be people that will get this, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, finally got an Elka SynthX," and then they'll probably realize what it's actually like to really own an Elka SynthX, and it's one of those synths that you can own it and be happy with owning it. Or you can own it like you were saying, Andy, and be like Pablo, who's someone who can really make it sing.
He made it sound great.
Yeah, so. It's what the SynthX is one of those synths that I feel like it has to be really kind of played with in a deep way for you to sort of get a long way with it. Otherwise, it can sound very shallow. It can just on the face of it, even if you look at that UI just there, it looks quite simple. Someone's probably watching this going, "Wow, that looks simple." Yeah, compared to a Roland Alpha Juno.
It's like the big Korg PS synths, right? I mean, they're just kind of string synths with really nice filters in them, right? So, but they could sound amazing too. So why not?
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, go for it if you want it, and don't if you don't. It's one of those things, isn't it? Choice is what we have, the abundance of it. And that's it for news. That one snuck in right at the last hurrah, that one did, because I think it came across my desk late Friday night as I was sort of swiping up on the phone.
So they dropped it, didn't they? Sneakily. Yep. Boom. Yes.
What did you like the most today, news-wise, guys? What was kind of the big thing for you? iPad apps, free synths, paint jobs.
Ooh. No, the RD.
Free synths are always good.
Yeah, I did like the RD.
MIDI hosts. RD?
Yeah,
RD-78?
My head's in drumland, so
yeah.
Of course I like that.
There's a lot of drums being featured on the show today. A lot of drums. Yep. I mean, Daren, that could be a no-brainer for you. The RD-78.
Yeah, it's the right same shape and size.
That or the iPad app? Yeah.
The iPad app.
Yeah.
And obviously the free synth. You can't knock the free synth.
Oh yeah, the Kruma. What do they call it again? It was the Paralogy.
Yeah.
Paralogy. I think you're going to pronounce it. I have trouble pronouncing things. Yeah, I know. Kill me.
There's one thing we've missed from this week, actually. I've just realised that Teenage Engineering have a new product out.
Yeah.
I got an email from them about their new backpack.
I saw that.
Waiting for that.
I saw the backpack. I thought, how much is this going to be? Having spent 60, 70 quid on a case for the Terror, I thought, well, surely the Teenage Engineering backpack will be that sort of price. Absolutely not. 300 quid. £299. They're having a laugh. Doesn't even have. It's not even branded as Teenage Engineering by the looks of it.
It looks like something.
Remember, they try to make designer stuff sometimes, and look at something like Gucci or one of those things. You know,
there it is. That's it. Ready to ship.
It's a Louis Vuitton synth bag.
Yeah, we don't need that.
Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed the news segment, because that's it. We're finished the news.
Yeah. Moving right on. Move along here. Yeah. These aren't the droids you're looking for.
Why don't we?
Great one, Chris.
Yeah. Why don't we go straight into the next segment? Ready? Go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Price watch time, people. Can't say there's any scammy sort of stuff this week. I don't think there's anything in the scam territory. I do apologise. I don't always see it. If you do have anything that you think is a scammy price, do let us know. I always like showing things like this sort of stuff, though, because the SP1200 has now been announced that Behringer may remake this. Which I really wasn't surprised to hear, to be honest. I actually thought they would have made it by now, because it's actually quite common, this thing. And big shout out to Brad and Isla Instruments. He's got the 2400, which he made a few years back now. I used to have one here. But if you do actually want a real SP1200, this particular one is an older one. I think you can tell somehow by someone who's in the know of the 1200s know that there's a remake edition, which was 2009 or 2010 or something like that, maybe even newer. But this
the grayish one, the kind of gray blue, are kind of newer. I think this dark blue, I think, is older.
These are a lot of fun, though. They really are. A lot of fun. Anyway, so that's the first one. The next one is this, and I was really interested when I saw this because a couple of reasons. Do you remember there was a stage where it was really, really hard to get yourself a TB303, and then there was a few people that were making TB303-ish products.
Yeah.
And these were one of them, the Acid Lab, the baseline. This is the baseline 3, and then I saw the price of this, and I thought $833. I could have sworn these things were way more expensive when there was no Behringer clone, and there was no Roland Boutique digital version. This is like when it was just TB303 that you could get, was the only Roland version you could get, and you had to pay through the nose. But yeah,
the Avalon one was the best third-party recreation.
The Avalon one, yeah.
Avalon was really crazy.
Yeah. There was a few. There was that what was that guy's name who came on the show once? That did
Bassbot or something like that.
Bassbot. Yeah, what was the guy?
It was called Bassbot something.
I can't think of it now. Anyway, $833 Australian, 400-ish pounds. It's pretty cheap. So apparently these things are pretty damn similar anyway to an original TB303. What else did I find? I also found this, which is coming up when I press that button there. The Logan String Orchestra.
Oh wow!
For about £1,400. This is actually on Reverb. All these actually are. I should show you. It's the show and tell part of this.
Just need Kent to come in and yell at the prices.
Well, £1,400 is not that bad.
No.
But then you can just get the Behringer.
Yeah.
It actually sounds pretty good, that Behringer. The Selena or whatever it's called. Yeah, anyway, that's that one. And the last one is something that I don't see often. I mean, we see the full setup of this, right? But I don't often see them individually, and that is the Roland System 100M modules. These aren't Eurorack modules, people. These are the actual original modules that go on the Roland System 100M. So this is a VCA module, dual VCA module, and you're spending 2,200 Oz or 1,100 pounds.
Yeah. Thereabouts.
You know what I love about this picture, though? Look at those faders, right? People talk all kinds of shit about the boutique short throw faders. Look how short those are. And these aren't cheap.
Well, let's have a closer look. Oh, there's only one photo.
Yeah, they are short, but there's not as short. Because the scale.
No, those are really short.
There's 6 U's, so.
They were like, yeah, they would have been that big.
Quite long, yeah.
So those would have been.
They would have been.
No, Andy's right. They would have been about 10mm throw.
They're very short.
Yeah,
Very
I wouldn't be
short.
surprised if they were about a 10mm throw.
You talk about the knobs, the knob scale.
Yep. Yeah, I'm going to agree with you, Andy. I think they're short throw. I mean, they're
not 100, yeah.
Behringer
Obviously.
System 100 Eurorack module, which you can pick up for about, it's 50, 60 pounds. That does the same job as this. Actually, I'm yet to discover anything in that System 100M recreation by Behringer that I feel is a bit cheaty. I feel like they've done a really good job of that. Those Eurorack modules, like the VCAs, behave.
Stereo. Got 2 of them.
Yeah. Well, the VCAs behave like the actual real System 100 VCAs did. They kind of, I mean, audio-wise, they, how do I explain it? So they will distort the same way. They will give you the same sort of the same
saturation
sort of
at the same point. Yeah. Respond curve is the same.
Yep. And in fact, it's actually that makes it actually really enjoyable. So, you guys would have noticed on the channel during the week I did the video on the Jupiter 8 filter from feedback modules, and one of the things I specifically did in that video is I put Roland VCOs through it, so that, and also Roland envelopes through it as well from the System 500 modules. And the reason why I did that is because when you guys are thinking and you're reminiscing about listening to a Roland sound, and especially if it's a Jupiter 8 filter, and I don't have a Jupiter 8 sitting here, so I can't chuck a Jupiter 8 through it without, some sort of massive arrangement that I'd have to organize. The closest thing really to a Jupiter 8 oscillator is actually a Roland System 700. When you think about its age and when it was around, the Roland System 700 was probably, I mean, if I remember rightly, the late 70s, right?
Yes.
I remember Vince Clarke had a
76.
beautiful one. He's in the studio. It's really nice.
1976. Okay, and then
Human League.
Roland Jupiter 8 came out in 1981. So a lot of it's not going to look. When I'm saying it's not going to be, you're not going to get the same as a Jupiter 8, but what you're going to get is you're going to get a similar. It's because they based a lot of those designs from the earlier synths that they made in the day. So the Jupiter 4, the Jupiter 6, the ProMars, even the SH5, all the older stuff that Roland had, but the modular stuff especially, because the System 100M, the System 700, they were all, that was all kind of, you got a very similar sort of result. There are nuances, but you got a similar result. And the thing I'm trying to say is that if you do own a Roland System 100M, you're going to get that sweet Roland sound guaranteed every time. It's almost like "Come Home to Me, Baby." It's almost like the epitome of that 1970s/80s vintage analog Roland sound. It's literally probably the best. System 100M would probably be the best thing to get if you ever wanted to have one thing that did it, if that makes sense. So when I put the VCF of the Jupiter 8, which was made by Feedback Modules, with those Roland sort of products going through it, it had some sort of profound effect on me, which I felt was weird, because what happened at the start is I actually had the Feedback Modules VCZ3 oscillators going through it at the start, which are a VCS3 type clone oscillator, and I felt like the Jupiter 8 filter was doing things that I don't know if I disliked it, but it was kind of doing things that I wasn't happy with. You know, when you guys are making sounds, right, and you just aren't happy with something, so you like crack shits and move on to something else, or whatever you do. I don't know what you guys do, but I usually unplug something and then plug something else in and see if it changes my opinion. And it's exactly what I did with the Roland System 500 modules. I plugged a square wave using pulse width modulation on it through into that VCF, and then something magic happened. It's almost like those two were like meant to exist together. It's weird, isn't it? But it's not really weird when you think about it, right? Think about those Japanese audio engineers and electronic engineers of the day. They knew what they friggin' were doing. So they had these things that generated sounds, and they had these other products that received sounds and manipulated sounds, and they knew the audio response curves and max and minimums and all that. They knew all this stuff. So when I was listening to the VCS3 go through it, I didn't like it as much. It's not I disliked it, I just didn't like it as much. It kind of didn't give me that Jupiter vibe. That's probably the good way of explaining it, right? It didn't give me the Jupiter vibe. It gave me a low pass filter vibe, which you can get from anything that's got a low pass filter in it, right? But as soon as I plugged the Roland System 500 module through it, it gave me a Jupiter vibe. And I'm thinking, how weird is that? There you go. And I've just ranted on for the last 5 minutes about that tiny little thing. Anyway, we finished.
In that time, I've worked out that they're about 1 inch long, those faders, using the size of the DIN cable to proportionally.
1 inch long?
Yeah.
That is tiny.
See, that's ridiculous. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
What was the boutique, the Jupiter 8 boutique?
Millimeters.
Because we used to always laugh about
close to that. It's a little longer than that, or around there. Yeah, well, at least on like the JP08.
Yeah. Okay.
People are bitching about that one left and right, and it's like other things exist with it. Nobody complained all that time, so.
Yeah, true. All right, guys.
Especially at the 700 price. That 700 is not cheap. So.
Just having a look here, we've only got 20 likes, and I'm just thinking, what am I doing wrong? 282 shows in.
There you go.
Is there something that we're doing wrong? You're not liking it? Tell us in the chat or in the comments below what you don't like. With only 20 likes. But if you are liking it, do click like. Apparently YouTube likes it when we click like. Right, now the other thing I wanted to do too is give you the third keyword for our synth quiz, and that is the word phase. And if you haven't worked out, there's actually a little commonality between those three keywords so far. That's another hint I probably shouldn't have even given that to you. It's probably going to give it away now. But there's a commonality between those three keywords, and a little bit later we're going to see who can guess what the synth is for our synth quiz. What were the first two words? Well, you should have watched the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, give yourselves some guesses, but just remember the first guess that you give, that is your official guess. Any guess after that? There are no prizes, by the way. This is just a bit of fun, you guys. So do enjoy it.
Well, it could grow if we get a sponsor.
It could. Well, we want a sponsor. We do. But why don't we?
Even without a price, yes.
Why don't we officially do this? Good on you, Marky. I knew you would, mate. I knew you would. Right, Saturday Sonority. If you're wondering what Saturday Sonority is, it's basically our segment where we can just. I can let my hair down. You know, it's all that hair that I've got. I can just let it down. I was actually going to go.
I left my smoking pipe in the jacket. I left my smoking pipe in the jacket.
In fact,
sorry.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go get a beer.
Oh, I'm going to go get a cup of tea in a minute.
And
I'll wait till he's back.
Giant Fosters.
I'm going to go and get a cup of tea. Anybody want a cup of tea?
Turn up my.
Yeah, I'll have a cup of tea. That's more like ours. Cup of tea.
2 sugars.
Ian, I'll take some rooibos. You got any rooibos?
Oh, actually, we have. We have.
Do you really?
I don't drink it. Jane drinks it. Yeah. So we got a lot of twig teas. We've got ordinary tea as well, but no milk. We've got no milk. Apart from oat milk. Jane has oat milk. I have mine black, you see.
So how does that normally work out? Do most people still take their tea with milk, or is that still mixed bag?
Well, most people do. It's been a couple of years since I have a very mild milk allergy. I can still, if I go out and I've got milk in my tea, I'll drink it. It's fine. But
because we have places here that do a high tea service and all that, well, the sandwiches and all that shit, but they just have regular tea. They don't put milk in or anything. So.
All right.
Right. I like a.
See that? That's interesting. Normally, if you go out into a cafe, you'd get milk with your tea and your coffee probably.
Yeah.
Unless you're going for those specialist teas, and we
have a lot of those specialist
teas. Well, like
teas.
chai clearly has milk in it, so I like chai tea.
Yeah.
But
I could do with a cold one right now.
And actually, the office which we rent, they've got lots of twig teas, lots of specialist teas.
These are just sitting in the fridge. I don't even know whose they are.
It's your fridge. They're yours, mate.
Yeah. It's cold, AC. That's why we're on tea. Warm ourselves up.
I'm going to go make a cup of tea. I'll be back in a minute.
Cheers, boys.
Cozy fire.
Cheers.
So what have we been up to? Has it been a good week?
Yeah.
And a damn cold one.
That's been
I just want the weather to break and it'd be nicer, a bit warmer. Spring. I want spring to come.
It's supposed to be getting cold, Ian, for the next week.
I know. We had snow yesterday. It snowed in Somerset.
Yeah, there's snow on the tops.
All right. So, question for you guys: who's enjoying the Re-Show series?
Yes. When I get a chance to watch them.
I haven't been able to watch that many of them. I watched a couple of them.
Yeah,
not as many as I would have liked.
I'm going through them, just beginning to end as you posted them, because it's good because I get to. There's quite a few tracks I missed that you did during the show, because sometimes before I was on the show as a regular, there were a few that I, just weren't around for, and then when I was, I missed quite a few of your early jams in the show because I was getting ready or setting up and I wasn't really paying attention. So, so I've appreciated it anyway.
It's not always going to be jams though. It's more about what I was thinking. This is my logic, and it could be flawed as hell. Is that we do, generally speaking, we do 2 to 3 hour shows every week, and there's a lot of stuff in them. A lot of stuff.
Unmined potential videos. I totally get what you're doing there. I think it's
more just me trying to find things that I feel like people haven't seen, and especially like Daren, in the days when we had you, me, and Andy, we had some really cool in-depth conversations about synths and stuff. And some of those conversations, they need to, be brought back out because they're still relevant.
I agree.
Yeah. We miss Andy, by the way.
Definitely.
Not you, Andy. We don't miss you.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
Oh.
Brooksy.
Mr. Brooks. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that was kind of the logic behind it, and it was more just sort of trying to find little gems in those streams that we've done where I can bring it out and just like the last one I did was not necessarily a jam so much. It was actually quite interesting because I'd forgotten, but we did a show, Daren will remember this, where someone had asked us to go through a setup that we'd done a jam on, or we'd done like we'd recorded a track or something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was probably along those lines where we'd done a jam on the show, and then someone said in the chat, hey, it'd be cool if you guys could go and step through it. So in sense, I was kind of playing the track, but I was stopping and I was talking about certain elements as I was doing and how I'd set it up. And it was something that someone had asked us to do. And I thought it was actually, when I watched it back, I thought, wow, that's actually pretty cool. That's interesting.
Like a mini tutorial.
Yeah, like more sort of like we can nerd about that stuff.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah. I know for a fact, Daren, that there was one show where you showed your setup of your rig. We talked to. I had some photos that you'd sent me through. I think it was on Facebook or something, or maybe I can't remember how you got it to me. And we were talking. You were talking about your setup of your rig and how you were designing it, and you were going through like version 1 to version 2 or something. I can't remember exactly what it was. Right? You probably might remember this. And then you should have seen, like, there's so many people that messaged me and said, that was friggin' cool. Like, Daren was showing how he set up his gear and how he's connected it and how he's made this stuff and he's invented all this stuff. And then I think we were showing one of your live performances at one of the early, I think it might have even been your first EMOM.
A bit Blackpool, if anything.
Yeah. And so basically what people were getting is they were getting the end result, right, of what you'd done, and then how you went about and actually set that up. And that, like, seriously, people loved that. They thought that was cool. So
I think that's usually helpful, because if you watch any other YouTube videos, it's all right seeing their end, whatever it happens to be.
The polished
sometimes you want to know the
product,
little bits, how they get, how did they connect that to that? Because I can't do it, and then you learn something from that, and then it evolves into whatever you're doing. It makes it a lot easier, because that's how I found a lot of things. Well, I've seen it on a YouTube video or whatever. I'm thinking, I haven't got a clue. I've tried, I can't get it, and then it's something so simple. But when they sort of explain it to you and show it you, rather than showing you the end product, like you say, it's like, of course,
yep,
why not? And it helps you.
So that may be a hint to what one of the next reshows is.
Cool.
So you don't know. These are the sort of things that will probably come out of the reshow series, and we've got 6 years worth of content to go through.
Exactly.
When you think it, Ranz, it was the MX1 that started it all off.
It was
for you probably, and for me definitely, because that was what I'd got the MX1, and it was like, I can't remember what it was, but there was something I didn't know on the MX1, and you just happened to be doing your video on them. I think it might have been linking. It wasn't linking to Ableton, but something like that anyway. And that's how I found you, Ion, all those years ago. So just showing you behind the scenes of something that was working, or other people using it in a way, and you want to know how they use it so it can help you.
Roland actually reached out to me when I did those videos. So
the 100 ones, the System 100 ones?
No, when I did the MX1 videos way back, they actually reached out to me, and they was sort of like saying to me things like, this is really cool, can we share it? And I'm like, oh yeah, of course you can, don't have to ask, just share it. And then one of the guys that works in Roland in Australia, there's actually a Roland office in Sydney, he was actually saying to me that the problem that the Japanese manufacturer has is they really don't make a very good manual. The manual is if you ever read Roland's manuals, they actually are they cover everything you need to know, but there's a way to interpret them which I find a little bit hieroglyphic in a sense, especially those ones that fold out like a newspaper, right?
The fold out Iro ones are the worst.
So one of the things that I used to think about was like, I'm doing a video and I'm trying to do people a favor, and that is, if I can get across in a way that people can understand it as a musician who's like standing there scratching their head looking at this crazy manual thinking this is not helping me at all, and I can do it in a way that they can feel like they've achieved what they wanted to achieve, then I've won. That's my job done, right? And that was kind of the approach that I used with it. And that guy from Roland, his name was Chris, by the way. He doesn't work there anymore. This is years ago. He was like, we need to do more of that. And he was trying to convince Roland in Japan to get me to do like tutorial videos for them, and it never eventuated. It just they weren't able to get the idea across.
Also ahead of your time, because now it'd be like we have a social media department that does that.
Yeah.
So, and how many subscribers do you have? No, go away.
Well, that's the other thing. There's a guy in the US.
1 million minimum.
That's
what's
true.
his name?
That is true.
Andy, you'd know him. The Roland guy. He's a bit chubby. The guy in the US that does a lot of the Roland stuff. He was at NAMM actually.
Ed Diaz.
Ed Diaz. See, that's the thing. So Ed was around before me, doing heaps of. I mean, Ed's been around for a long time, and he's. By the way, Ed.
I saw him in 2009 NAMM the first time.
Big shout out to him. He's awesome dude. And so Ed would do similar sort of stuff, but he would do it with the big workstation keyboards and the more sort of mainstream performance type Roland products. And I love that because it was cool. And I used to watch his videos, and I mean he was very intricate about the detail he'd go into, and I kind of learned a little bit from him, in that. And then I would get these IRA products, or I'd get the System One, or whatever synths they were, and there wasn't a lot of stuff out there about it, and I'd do a video on it to try and demystify the hieroglyphics of the Roland manual.
Well, I found it from your JDXI videos. Those are great.
Yeah, so there's another one. That's exactly the whole purpose of those JDXI videos, especially that that chord thing that they had on there, where you would play a chord, and it would it was almost like like those old Yamaha synths, and like they had the performer thing, and it would accompany you. It was I reckon it was kind of stolen from that idea, but
between you and Woody Piano Shack, I learned a boatload about the JDXI from just a couple of videos. So
yeah, Woody's still around. I watched a video of his the other day. What I used to love about Woody's videos, though, he's changed a bit, probably because he has to, but because you got to keep the kids happy. But he used to do these little road trips. That was so freaking cool to watch. I mean, he lives in Sweden, and he used to do these road trips, and he would tell people, "Hey, I'm going to go and buy a used synth today," and he'd go and literally you'd have a little bit of a POV of him driving down the freeway.
Jaxus did that too. Jaxus had some fun synth travel videos as well.
I love that stuff. That's so cool.
Yeah. Also, Centaur. Centaur used to document picking up rare synths in different parts of the US.
I used to love the Centaur stuff as well. Yeah. We're getting some guesses in for the quiz. Yeah,
there are a couple of things that throw me off.
Yeah, I made it a little bit hard. Maybe I made it too.
It's a little harder than usual.
Yeah. Anyway, you guys, I don't know. You'll probably kill me when I show it to you. I don't really want to give you any more clues though, because I kind of feel like if I do, you guys are going to get it. And Where would the fun be in that? You know, there'd be no fun in getting it. Open image and new tab. Yeah, it's a JPEG.
He's not going to tell you, Kieran. You're not going to find out what the clues are again. You have to go back over the last couple of hours.
Sorry, buds.
Yeah. And the thing is, the first one you get a warning for that clue because it's obviously puts his
But the
thing up.
second and third one, no.
But the second and third, they're just lost in the show somewhere.
In the chat.
Yeah.
Preceded by the way.
Maybe.
Well, I've
Maybe
already
might
guessed,
say,
but
by
I
the
think
way.
I'm wrong.
I might say something else, Chris.
I guessed right after the first clue, but
What was your guess again, Ian?
Korg Oscillator.
Oh, okay. Well, we did the Korg KP3
Oh,
last week. I'll let you out of your misery, Ian. It's not the K oscillator.
Oh no! Oh no! I'm so devastated.
Thanks, mate.
Acting.
You should do acting. Seriously.
Yes.
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
really.
You can tell he's an artist.
All right.
I know my
Why
place.
don't we do quiz? The world's cheesiest stinger. Yes, that's you just had it. Okay, guys, get your guesses in. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to get your guesses in. I'm not that mean. I'm not that mean. Get them in now. There's a few popping in. I can see them. Awesome. Well done, guys. Okay, so, and this is just for who was it whinging that didn't know what the keywords were? Kieran, wasn't it? Was it Kieran? Or was it someone else?
Yep.
Kieran? All right,
Kieran.
Kieran. The three key words were phrase, physical, phase. There were the three key words. So, give you guys a couple more seconds. You can have a think about that, and then I am going to reveal what the answer is for the quiz for this week. The whole point of these, it's like, if you ever listen to a radio station, you guys have probably heard they have the secret sound, or they'll have the guess the keyword, or it's kind of based on all those sort of media things. But I thought we'd put a synth slant on it, and I think it's kind of doing well. All right, here we go. We got some quiz ideas in. Geez, we're getting some really interesting ones. I think a lot of people are going down a certain path, and they're going to be extremely disappointed with that path that they're going down, because it ain't that. Chris has got his guess in. Yeah, I'm going to have a little sip of the beer while I wait for a couple more to pop in. Ian's devastated. He's feeling like
I'm sat here drinking my defense tea. It's called defense, and I'm just going to put the barriers up.
It's okay, Ian. Just buy the TE backpack. You'll be happy. Everyone will be fine.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah. That's next week's.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, isn't it? I'll just buy that.
Do you guys want to know what it is? Who wants to know?
Yeah.
Come on, put me out in misery.
All right, are you
Put
sure?
us out of our misery, yeah.
Are you sure? Positives?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want me to explain the keywords?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Phrase, because it's a phrase looper.
Oh.
Physical, because it does have a physical modeling engine in it.
Yeah. Didn't know.
I don't remember that. Does it?
And it does. It's on the specs sheet. And phase, because it has a phaser effect.
Oh, okay.
You and your phases.
That's hard. But
And also, each word started with a PH, which I thought was pretty cool.
You've let me down. You've let everybody down.
Yeah, because AN is not not a VL, and that's the only thing that Yamaha did. Was
It says it on the
VL, it's
specs.
physical.
Don't shoot me. It says it on their specs. I'm only going by what it says on specs. I own a CS, a Refast CS.
I have one, yeah, but I can't remember anything special on it. It's just AN stuff.
Yeah, it's based on the AN1X, isn't it? But I mean, it was supposed to be based on the CS80. That's what it was. That's why it was called the CS.
Sure.
But it sounds nothing like the CS80.
No. It's fun though. I do enjoy it. But...
It is fun. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Well, it was a bit too hard, that one, was it? All right.
It was for me. But then again,
I think the physical and
I get near that synth wrong every week. So
exactly. Yeah.
Physical and phase threw a lot of people off because they're thinking phase modulation, and that's not physical modulation. Physical modulation, phase modulation.
Because he's going to get all butthurt with me. You watch.
I definitely picked up the phrase sequencing because I've heard that term before, but I didn't attribute it with any particular sense. It's just lack of knowledge.
Yeah. Wagoo's not happy with your Ranz. That's definitely.
That's right. He's
telling the way that
that's
the way he's worded it. It's just yeah.
We've been down this route before. There's
Look,
no
Jelly
problems.
Boy.
Yeah.
The original throw.
I'll get the Moncock sign down just for him.
Yeah, there you go.
Daniel, just don't go smashing anything in that with those racks in your room right now, mate. Just take it easy, buddy.
He's doing one of those famous room trashing scenes in movies where someone just goes around.
There's the physical word. You got it. That's what Yamaha specs say.
There you go.
The Yamaha may be misusing the word, but there you go.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, go check it out. If you look at the Yamaha
Biscuit's
specs,
asking for a Stewart's inquiry.
Well, it's a phrase looper. If you look at the specs, right, it says phrase looper, it says analog physical modeling, and it's got a phaser. So I use the word phase.
But analog modeling is not the same as physical modeling, which is emulating physical things like strings.
I'm just using
pipes.
a key
word. Not you.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you did it, but that doesn't make sense. It's for pipes, strings.
Who knows?
That kind of stuff. That's physical modeling.
Yeah, who knows? But
it's just sometimes they're just whacking a load of words to make it sound even more interesting than it usually is.
Yeah. Well,
I think they learnt that from the hi-fi industry.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't mind. Absolutely. I don't mind the term analog physical modeling. I actually kind of feel like that. What that is saying is
Physicals
that they are emulating analog physical components. Yeah.
Future World Machine kept thinking of Olivia Newton-John.
But that's confusing what real physical modeling is. A VL engine is physical modeling, and that's not emulating circuits. It's emulating physical instruments.
Well, it's
so angry you can't type.
Yeah, it's a tricky one.
Oh, dear.
Electronics is a subset of physics, so
it's marketing bullshit, basically. Yeah.
That's funny though.
It'd be funny though if Behringer created a clone of that Yamaha synth.
There we go.
Yeah. If they also use physical modeling in the same thing. So.
Do it quickly.
First sampling.
Had to do it quickly.
Yeah.
Times of the essence.
Well,
Behringer say we've cloned the physical modeling.
Kieran, I have to apologise every show because everyone just gets like they just want to throw their synths at the screen. They want to
but
I don't know.
We're not mad at you. We're mad at the
shoot their air horn.
We're just mad at Yamaha, aren't we?
Yes.
I like my Yamaha AM1X. At one time, people didn't like them. They was like, but now they're quite sort of.
Well, they're not fun to program, but they sound great.
Yeah, God, they are a bit.
I wonder how much, Wagoo, did you have to go and have a cold drink to calm yourself down? Now that you actually worked out that I was actually telling the truth.
I think Wagoo might be just cranky because he's got a bad case of rack rash.
Rack rash. Oh my god.
Rack rash.
Oh my god.
He forgot to use the little plastic donuts.
I didn't come out as fluent.
I was thinking about Dolly Parton for a minute there.
Whoa. Crack
It grows, sneaks up on you, that joke.
Yeah,
that's more chafing than
the
just
more you
a
think
rash.
about
It's,
it.
it's chafing. Yeah.
this has definitely turned into the pub, hasn't it?
Yes. Yes. Who was? Oh, God, you're always outraged.
So,
What are you talking
one
about?
could call her one could call her a chafing dish, right? So.
Yes, he doesn't like not winning, Kieran. That's the problem, mate. Yeah. Okay, so what's coming up next is the next question, isn't it? On this show, nothing, by the way. We're just we're going to chew the fat for the next half an hour, probably. I may even get another beer.
Yeah.
What, 2 beers? Oof. I may even make tea. But I choose
the other day, I went and just had a quiet beer with a mate of mine, right? And one thing I noticed is that when you buy beer at a local, pub or whatever you want to call it, in my city you get basically there's 2 options. You can have a pint, or you can have and they use a couple of different words depending on where you come from. So they might use the word middy, or they might use the word schooner, or they might use the word pot, or there's all sorts of different names, right? And when you order one, you actually, if you don't know, if you're not like a regular piss drinker, you don't know what.
Yeah, and they go, "Do you want some pot?"
I mean, one could be like this massive, huge, friggin' drink, and that if you hit, jump in the car, you're over the limit, and the next thing you know, the boys and blues want to take your license away from you, and the other one wouldn't even wet the whistle. It just depends on what you're going to go for. And I kind of thought it was quite interesting. So when we were talking to this guy about it, if you live in different parts of Australia, the actual size of the schooner changes, for example.
So is a schooner bigger than a pint then?
No. Well, it could be, depending on what part of Australia you live in. This is why I'm confused.
But is that because the schooner's changing, or is it because
the schooner's
it's so much easier here? We've got
a random amount.
We've got measured weights and measures. Do a measured pint.
We've got a department of weights and measures in Australia as well, but they are state run, and that's the problem. They're run by, whereas in England they're run by the country, right? They're country run. Yeah. It's really, 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 really confusing. Anyway, so my general trick is I will just order a pint, because generally speaking, a pint will always be the same.
Roughly the same. Yeah.
And a pint is generally 2 drinks. 2 standard drinks, if you're worrying.
Yes. That's right.
So if I was to jump in the car after drinking a pint, I should be okay. With the drinking limits, depending on what the percentage is. If you had a pint of schnapps, you'd probably be into trouble. But yeah.
But you guys don't have those pubs like they have in Germany, where they have the round bottom things that you can't put down. You have to hold on to it. They're purposely round bottom. Yeah. So
I know those things are cool. They're really. I really like that, because we went to a place in Germany and we had them, right. And the funny thing is, like, they were thinking that they were being smart by that round bottom thing, but where we were, it was like a friggin' like dance club, and everyone was standing up anyway, and everyone was standing up drinking and socializing, and there was nowhere to put your beer down anyway, because everyone was like shoulder to shoulder, and standing up was packed. Yeah. So I didn't really see what the purpose was.
Oh yes, Paul Holmes points out a yard of ale. We've got a yard of ale, which I have to say I haven't seen anybody drink a yard of ale since the 1980s.
Is that the big yard glass thing? Is that what it is? Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh,
you got to be careful.
Chain here called Yard House. Is that why it's called Yard House?
Is it 8 pints or something like that? It's quite a lot, isn't it?
You have to be careful drinking that, because there's a gravity physics thing going on there as well. And it's not.
In fact, the last person I saw. Sorry, go on.
Oh, you go, and I'll tell you after.
Go right, sorry. No, I'm going to say the last person I saw do that was in this pub, and it literally, they brought the they filled the Yard of Ale glass, and they brought a bucket because the minute he drunk it, he threw up. It was just horrendous.
Well, the last time I saw
quickly, out quickly.
Last time I saw someone do that, it's exactly the same thing. It was just like projectile vomiting everywhere. And the reason for it is that when you drink from this thing, the gravity of whatever it is, 8 pints or whatever is in there, it's a massive amount of beer. It literally just goes into you really quick. And if you, I don't know, if you've ever sculled a beer, a lot of people can't scull beers because it makes them feel sick.
Choke,
because it's too bubbly.
Virtually.
It creates like a big, like if you shook a beer up, that's the same thing happening in your stomach, and that's why it makes you feel sick. And those big yard
it's like the beer bongs in college. You're the beer bongs with the guys up on the upper store.
Yeah.
No, the guys have a tube, and the guys on the second floor.
Yeah.
And they pour beer down this tub. You're supposed to drink the whole thing.
God, that's
a college thing. Yeah, beer bong.
Yeah, no, I couldn't do that. I'd probably be sick, I think.
It's not that kind of scenario.
They sell those.
Here.
Yeah, they sell those giant things in Las Vegas. People walk around on the strip. Yeah, or something like that.
Wagoo's got a good point there.
Drunk people everywhere.
The specs of beer gravity physics is probably better than the Yamaha Reefer spec sheet.
There we go.
You see, he can't let it go, can he?
Modeled,
he can't let it go.
He's butthurt, isn't he? Is he going to write a letter to Yamaha now? I think he's going to write a letter to him.
Here we go, Wagoo.
I mean, he's right. It's a stupid term.
Monk.
There we go.
Just cheer up. You're all right. There you go. You're happy now.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Lovely.
Question Brian Clevinger use in his Synthester fix plugin terms like ladder. What's app is sympathetic and ladder?
Sympathetic and ladder?
I don't know what she's talking about there. Sorry.
I don't know.
I'm having trouble understanding that one. Someone else want to help? I have had a beer, so yeah. Anything?
No, you're all right. It's not just you and the beer. I think Da Vinci Go.
You're already in cognitive decline.
She's had a beer. Yeah.
Yes. 1,000-yard stare. Yeah, I've never really understood. There's guys I've known over the years who've been able to sink a lot of beers really quickly.
Oh yeah.
And you just think to yourself, like, how are you even still standing? Like, you've probably polished off, I reckon, half a carton of beer. Good on you, Robert.
It's because they do it regularly. I mean, I do believe that we've got an awful lot. I mean, I can't say about other countries, but in this country we have an awful lot of functioning alcoholics. People that need to have a drink most days, if not every day.
Yeah. Well, that's probably.
But they're functioning. They've got jobs. They hold down jobs, and they've got families and all that sort of thing. But I mean, I had a mate when I was up in Yorkshire. I had a mate that literally couldn't go to bed until he had his 2 pints.
We had a guy who was a disease, known alcoholic at work. You could smell it on him all the time.
Yeah, that's a disease.
Yeah,
I mean, there's definitely people I worked in that world.
When I was an apprentice painter and decorator when I was 15. I was 15. So I left school at 14. 15, I'm an apprentice painter and decorator. One of the guys I worked with clearly was not a very well functioning alcoholic, but he'd turn up at work with four or five bottles of Guinness, and that would be his mid-morning drink. Would be a bottle of Guinness, pint of Guinness, and he would do the same at lunchtime. Hey, no, he wouldn't. No food, just that. So through the day, through the working day,
steak and eggs in every bottle.
I mean, luckily his boss was his brother-in-law, I think. So otherwise, any other job he'd have been kicked out, really.
Yeah, how can you do that? Like, you can't do that. You can't go to work with alcohol.
When I was working at Nikon, I discovered eBay and was buying all the synths that I'd been collecting and stuff. And so at night I'd play music with my friend and take naps in the car for lunch because it's just the quickest, a power nap. And I noticed this one guy, at least one day, maybe a couple days, he was also taking a nap in his car, but he followed me into the building, and he went down our hallway, stopped, and kind of stood around for a while, and was like totally lost. Like, it's like, where am I? And he was a drunk, and he was sleeping it off in his car. He didn't know where he was in the workplace. He got lost in the hallways. That's really bad.
Yeah.
That's a non-functioning alcoholic.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't think you can really mince the two terms, can you? Alcoholic and functional.
Well, I mean, especially when you smell it on somebody, it's so easy. Just after a couple of drinks, you could totally smell it on people. You can't hide it.
It's
Unless you drink vodka. You can if you drink vodka.
Wagoo, you're talking about the flip top lid.
Yeah,
where you can you can open up your mouth like a flip top lid, and you've got a gullet. I don't see the purpose in it, right? I know that it's a party trick and some guys get a laugh out of it, but if you're trying to have a beer, you're not having a beer to consume it in a split second. You're having a beer to enjoy it, right? That would be my point.
Depends what age you are and where you are.
Yeah, I suppose.
Or what stage of the night you are.
Yeah, exactly. You know what the worst thing is when they call last call and you order like 4 drinks. That's the stupidest thing. They let you do that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta hurry up and get him in and then I gotta go drive.
So some of the things that they used to get away with in the old days, there's no way they'd be getting away with them now. They'd lose their licenses. I'm not talking about driving license. I'm talking about selling alcohol licenses.
Oh yeah.
Like I remember that years ago in the 90s, I used to live in Brisbane, which is on the east coast of Australia, and I used to live in the suburbs, and we used to go into the city to drink with the boys in the pubs and stuff. And they used to have this one place where you would pay a set fee. I forget what it was. It was something really stupidly small, and they'd lock you in. The place was literally locked. You were locked in, and you were able to drink anything you wanted as long as it was bottom shelf. So bottom shelf spirits, beers, anything you wanted. You could have as much as you wanted. So you could literally just drink until you like fell off the bar, and people did fall off the bar, and they would just like drag you into the toilet or drag you somewhere,
pile up with the rest of the body.
and then they'd let you out at I don't know if it was 1 in the morning or midnight. They'd let you out, and that was it.
Yeah. And
there was all sorts of like really really sad stories about people crashing their cars into trees on the way home and. Like, I don't even know why they were driving, but they were driving.
The smart clubs in San Francisco, they do like dance clubs especially, but smart clubs in San Francisco, they will cut off the alcohol at 2 by law, and they'll continue. They'll stay open and continue to serve like soft drinks, sparkling water, something else to keep you hydrated, because they're going to make more money from that as well, and also people keep dancing and they work off the damn alcohol they're on. Smart, right?
I remember when this was the mid '80s. There was a loophole that we had a club, which was technically it's a private club, but anybody could join. And it was actually on the river. It was a barge on the river. So bar upstairs, and then downstairs in the bottom of the barge would be the venue. And I played there lots of times. Got on really well with the guys there, and they would have lock-ins. And literally, you could stay, and I've gone home, and it's been sunrise, and I would walk because I used to live in the centre of York, so it was fine. I would walk at sort of 7 o'clock in the morning, having been up all night in this club, But it's just, and it was a loophole because clubs at the time used to have to close at 2 o'clock in the morning, and because this place was on the river, it didn't have quite the same rules. And it was a private members club of sorts, happy times really.
Private members club, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. They have a different set of rules, and actually,
absolutely,
they get around the law because of it. They get around the law.
Yeah.
So you
was it Ziggy's? No, John Carter. It wasn't. It was the barge. I've been to Ziggy's plenty of times though as well.
Chris, you know, there's a famous one in St George's Terrace in the city, and we're not talking about naughty private
gentleman's club.
Yeah, we're not talking about that. We're talking about just a normal private club, and it's got the word West in its name and club in its name. It's about all I'll say for now. And anyway, I think Chris will probably.
Does it have jelly wrestling?
No. This is more like this is more like a whole bunch of blokes smoking cigars type club, right?
Yeah.
This is one of those.
Proper.
But the thing is, there's all sorts of laws that literally just go out the window about what they can get away with because they've called themselves a private members club. And the only thing that they have to have a license for is to be able to serve alcohol, but their license restrictions about what time they can serve it, about when they whether they can stop serving it to you because you look like you're intoxicated, all those laws don't apply to them because they're a private members club.
All they have to do is make sure that their members list is available to police or something.
That's it.
And that's all they need, and then they can do all the rest they want.
And so they've just literally avoided all the laws. And those clubs, usually they have multiple different rooms. Sometimes they have multiple different floors. They're pretty big, some of them. The one I'm thinking of has got just multiple different rooms. And each room, like there's a cigar room where you go in and there's like literally there's just like fog of it's cigar smoke in this place. And if you're into smoking cigars, it's pretty cool, but I wasn't. And then there's another room where you are drinking really expensive, whiskeys and scotches and cognacs and stuff like that. And you're talking about, $300 glasses of scotch,
Wow.
£150 glass for a glass.
Wow.
Yeah. And the guys are just in there going, yes, this is a rather good one, this one, yes.
Great impersonation though, Ranzee.
I go in there and I'm just like, are you guys all fucking mental or something?
This is what the mining boom's done to our city, hasn't it?
There are bars around here that will close the doors and continue serving as long as no one else comes in.
Yeah,
the lock-in.
Their license, but they'll do it anyway.
The lock-in. I told you, the lock-in.
Yeah.
There's got to be some sort of little loophole in the law with this lock-in business.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because technically they've closed the doors, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they don't have a bunch of windows, so nobody can see what's going on.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And it's usually people that they trust who can stay.
People who've got big wallets.
And big wallets. Yeah.
I mean, big wallets.
Big wallets and small and shut mouths.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that can happen in a pub. I've seen that happen in pubs up and down the country.
Oh, they had the university taverns. That's some serious drinking going on there. Jeez, thinking back in the days, they used to have this thing called skullduggery. Have you guys heard of that? So it's very similar to the lock-in thing that we were talking about before, except it's done at a university tavern. And basically, they usually have one of these every semester, so it's 2 a year. And you'd go in, you would pay your fee to be part of the skullduggery, and you weren't able to. So this is the cool thing about it. If you didn't pay, as in like weeks before, and you just rocked up on the day, the security people would say, "No, sorry, mate, you can't come in." Yeah. And then it would be this kind of euphoria with that, because people would be like, "Oh no, that's bullshit. We want to get in. This looks so cool," because all the 19, 20-year-old uni students, trying to be cool.
Yeah.
And then that literally became a thing. Like you were like a first year, a freshman, and you wanted to get in, and you couldn't because you didn't pay in front 3 weeks in front. So then you were like, "When's the next one on?" They go, "Oh, next semester. Here's the thing. Go pay for your next one."
Yeah.
And it would become a thing. But once you actually got in, because they were on a university campus, it became a different law, and I don't think they come under this like a state government law. I think they come under a federal law, which is weird because at one stage, I don't know if this is still the case in Australia, but if you were a policeman, you weren't allowed on a university campus without a warrant or without an invitation by the university faculty staff. So you'd never get cops coming into the tavern. Even if there was like a massive punch up and people were like almost killing themselves, they would just like wipe the blood off their brow and go home with bruised. It was crazy. This is why it was called skullduggery, because people would bash their skulls in, and
people were getting into mischief.
It was crazy. But this was the 90s at university, right? Early 90s for me.
By the way, if I can just interject for a moment with a tiny little bit of synth-related stuff, the person, I know, the person Da Vinci Girl was talking about, who Brian Clevenger is the creator of Absinthe.
Yeah,
and several other. So he's done several other plugins since then that he's done under his own name, and a series of audio effects. One called Synestia, which he mentioned, and Sympathetic is another one. Dual Ladder is another. And anyway, I think she was just confused by the terminology, wasn't familiar with the terminology that he was using, and it does look like they're all related to traditional analog circuits. So yeah.
So what was she asking though?
She wasn't babbling. I think she just wanted to understand the terminology because she wasn't familiar with it. So it's like, what's a dual ladder? It's like, well, it's a type of circuit.
Yeah.
What does it do? Well, it depends on how it's configured. Yeah. It's not an easy thing to explain, but anyway, it was just an off-the-cuff question from her, I think so. But now consider ourselves educated that we kind of know what she's talking about.
No, it's good. I'm glad. I mean, it's hard for me to Google search and run a show.
As I said, it's a long shot. Sometimes I can Google things and get on the case and work out what's going on. Sometimes I'm none the wiser. But in this case, I thought I'd have a go.
So it looks like the synth quiz this week has caused some controversy because Wigoo's roped Manny into the conversation now, and
Manny's
they're off on like just chatting about specs and Yamaha and AM1X and all sorts of like Wigoo's like a dog with a bone at the moment. He's not letting go of it. And Yamaha, if you're watching, I would be expecting a phone call or an email or. Maybe he might even jump on a plane. You don't know Wigoo. If he gets really behind this, he might jump on a plane and rock up to Japan.
Well, he just sent bots out to them. He'll attack them with bots.
He could, yeah. I mean, he's a bit of a hacker.
He's got a whole bot.
Wagyu, Wagyu is now asking in the chat. Did Marky attend Ian's jelly wrestling shows in Ian's Workingman's Club? I mean, come on, Michael. He's already said got me a monk out. You're just a filthy boy and you need to sit in a corner. We've got a thing. There's a thing in London called.
He just wants to hear you say cock. Take it out of context.
Yeah, I know he does. This is nothing I've ever been to, but apparently in London they have a thing called a Circle Line party. Now the Circle Line is on the underground tube, and it just goes obviously round in a circle all the time.
Yeah, it goes around the outskirts.
They turn it into a party, if you like, an illegal party.
I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
There is a website, but they don't say when the next one's going to be.
I mean, I could think of better parties, but yeah, it's a thing.
I could too. Yeah,
it's a thing.
Not a lot of room for dancing, is there? Yeah.
It's
sounds
more like a rave call. Would be
gyrating. Gyrating in small spaces is more likely what's happening. Yeah, no, that's good. I'm glad we caused Wigoo some grief this week, and he's
some discomfort.
spat out his.
He is. Yes, he's because like you said, Ranzee, he doesn't like to lose, doesn't Wags?
He likes to be the man of knowledge.
He likes to win a quiz. He always wins.
To be fair, though, it is a bullshit naming convention they used, so it's not.
It is, but I can understand that. I can understand what they're saying. They're saying it's physically modeling the analog circuitry.
But they're not using what everyone else uses, even their own company uses for physical modeling. Like the VL is based on drum heads, strings, windpipes.
I never said physical modeling. I just said physical.
No, I know. I didn't say you did anything like that. But
so this is the cool thing about the keywords.
When you think physical...
Yeah, you can think anything,
when you think of
you?
physical, though, you think physical modeling, unless you're talking about just a physical synth, which is anything.
I mean, you could be talking about a CS80, how physical the bloody thing is to lift up.
That's what I mean,
Yeah. It's
just
good.
Physically moving the knobs.
Words, tracker jack. That's it, bud. That's it, mate. You got it. Geez, we can... Look, I tell you what, we should... With the synth quiz, we should have guest quizzes. So we can have a guest come in and like Ian, you could come up with the quiz one week, right? Ian's going to be the quiz master,
Not the jelly master.
Get all the heat. You take all the heat.
Well, you could be a jelly master.
You could be both.
That could be the
want.
clue.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Your jelly master quiz.
I mean, you do call it Sinner's music for a reason, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
And that has been explained. It's got nothing to do with me.
I know.
It's to do with the song.
I do. I do know the story.
Yeah.
But jelly,
so,
jelly
we can
wrestling.
have jelly donuts on the stream next time.
We need to do the t-shirts, the jelly wrestling t-shirts, just for Wagyu. He'll buy one.
I don't think I've ever seen jelly wrestling. I think it's something I need to
I've
go
never
check
seen
out.
it. I've only just met the girls, that's all.
Yeah.
You've never watched an episode of Blokes
Yeah.
World on 7, mate?
No.
You used to have jelly wrestling all the time on 7. Blake's World?
Is that the
Oh my God,
trampoline
Blake's
jumping
World?
one? Is that the trampoline jumping one?
No.
I wonder if
They
jelly
do-
wrestling's on YouTube.
It's gone now, I think.
they
But
could start
in the
something
early
there.
days of, 7, mate, the channel,
Yeah.
when it first started up, Blokes World was... Blokes World used to be on SBS, like in the middle of the 1 a.m. at night, and it was basically everything that they couldn't put on air, blokey stuff. So it was cars, stripping women, jelly wrestling.
So look, complete
rodeos.
misogynistic show. Yeah.
Yeah, basically what you probably wouldn't quite get away with now, but it was called Blokes World.
Oh.
It's definitely on
Actually
YouTube.
sounds friggin' cool. Blokes World's on
It was
YouTube.
at the time, and it was
Wow.
yes.
I just
Jelly
remember.
wrestling's innocent.
I
They're usually
rather
in
enjoyed
bikinis,
the
so it's not
scantily.
nudity. Yeah.
No, but
topless.
I remember a show
topless.
on 7, mate, where I literally flicked it over one day, and there was girls jumping up and down on trampolines, and that's what the show was called. And then this title
That
went
was
to
from the
Does
Man
sound like-
Show.
does
Girls on
sound like Blokes World.
trampolines, and I'm like,
That came from the Man Show.
was it okay?
Andy's asking if it's safe to Google. I've just Googled it, Andy, and yes, it's safe. But I haven't looked at. I'm only looking at the trailer, which is a minute and a half. I'm not.
NSFW.
It's just like
actually
mud
clicked on
wrestling.
any of the links.
Mud wrestling would start with a bikini, and eventually the bikinis come off.
Yeah, that's some
So
of that as well. Mud wrestling, 2014, women's mud wrestling. Yeah,
But I've never
There's
actually
loads of it.
seen
Jello wrestling.
jelly wrestling. Never.
Yeah.
And
There's
I
the jelly wrestling
like
it's just
in.
cleaner
called
than
Jello
mud
wrestling.
no,
There's
but I
the
feel,
one in
I,
the pool.
I feel cheated in life now.
Yeah,
that I
the
haven't
one in the
seen
little
that.
kids pool, and there's also ones on poles as well. That's kind of more greasy pole.
Yeah.
There's a greasy pole version where the women straddle greasy poles and smash each other with. You don't want to know what I've been watching.
I think I need a shower after watching this.
I feel I've shared too much. Maybe it
This
was
is
just
way
in my
beyond
head.
crumpets. Yeah, this is.
Oh dear.
Oh no.
If my mother's watching, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry.
I was at athletics this morning with my 10-year-old, right? And these 10-year-old boys, they are hilarious. Now they were all giggling at this joke, and then one of the boys' name is Oliver. He comes up to me, he goes, "I'm going to tell you the joke," and I'm going, like, "Yeah, I want to know what you guys are all laughing about." He goes, why couldn't the baby fit through the door? And I'm like, why? He goes, because it had a javelin through its head, and they were literally throwing javelins. These 10-year-old kids were cracking these really uncouth jokes right now, and I'm just thinking, like, that was the like. No parents were around except the kids know that I'm good for a laugh, so they thought it was quite funny. Jeez, this 10-year-old kid comes up with this joke. I thought, did your old man tell you that one? That's killed the mood, isn't it?
I'm looking at what Manny said. Marmalade is too kinky. Do you want to explain that?
Ooh.
Yeah,
quite understand. Why?
Well, the problem with marmalade is it would burn.
Oh, I know why, Ian. It's because everyone keeps yelling out to spread it. No,
see, marmalade is citrus, and it would actually burn.
We
You don't
don't
want
do
to use
Vegemite
marmalade,
wrestling,
so.
by the way.
oh, Chris. Oh,
There's a reason why we don't do Vegemite wrestling in this country.
No.
Imagine how much.
It's a good.
Imagine
I have to
getting
say it's a
into
good
all
use
the,
for
yeah,
it.
okay. I'll stop.
It's definitely a good use for it.
Isn't there like a complete genre for that stuff?
Yeah, that's. That's what they get up to in
You gotta
the
be careful.
men's club. Yeah.
You have to be careful using Jello. Remember, Jello Biafra was in trouble with Jello gelatin when he used the name Jello.
Jello is just jelly, isn't it? Like jelly, like the
It's
dessert.
Gel-O. It's a trade name.
Yeah, but it's just like
They take the hyphen out, and so Jello Biafra from Dead Kennedys was using the name Jello, and it's a trademark name. So they were kind of, in the early days, they were kind of going after him a little bit for that.
right. So is Jello different to jelly?
No, well, but yeah, because Jello is gelatin. Jelly is like jam.
Right.
Jam. Yeah, jelly.
Okay.
So Wagyu,
Yeah, so peanut butter and
thinks
jelly. Peanut butter
I
and-
know the jelly wrestlers. I just want to put it out there that I'll repeat part of the story. Wagyu, I don't know any jelly wrestlers. I met them one evening in a pub with the management of the band I was in, and we went for drinks. That was it.
But
they were trying to
now you
convince
know
us to
them,
go
see?
to their show, which we didn't do.
Ian is
But
back.
I've never
Now
met
you
any
know
other
them.
jelly
There you go.
wrestlers.
That's
And we are talking late 80s.
Yeah, I mean, whatever happened in the 80s stayed in the 80s. Do you know what I mean?
It stayed in the
Yeah.
80s, didn't it? Yeah.
usually, not always, but usually.
No, but getting back to Jello, right? I'm confused. So, I know that they call it peanut butter and jelly, and jelly is what we would call jam. Jelly is what we would call jam, right? But then again,
Yeah.
I have been corrected on this. So you guys actually do have a jam as well, and the difference apparently is that the jam in the US is the one with the real chunks of fruit in it.
Yeah, it's
And
better quality, less
and
sweet.
the jelly is the
Jelly's
more
the shit. Yeah.
yeah, just
crap stuff.
like a sugary
Completely
spread
pureed,
flavored. Yeah, I get it. But Jello is like what we would call jelly. Jello is the dessert, right? You have with
jam,
ice cream.
like preserves. They also use the word preserves for jam.
The wibbly wobbly things.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So do you call it Jello wrestling? That's my question now.
Yes,
It would be
apparently,
Jello.
according to YouTube, and I put jelly wrestling in the search. We've got the jelly wrestler.
Jane wants to know what's
Jamie
going
meets her match, the Jello wrestler. So I think
they-
they're interchangeable. Sexy
They probably
girls
again
Jello
call it
wrestling
jelly wrestling
party.
because they don't want to be sued by Jello gelatin.
Right, is that what?
It's a
And then we've
trademark
got
name.
the Jelly Wrestling 2014, which looks really quite violent.
Violent.
Well, mud wrestling gets pretty violent. You know, you ever
Boys.
watch the movie Stripes?
Jello should be okay. as
Don't
long as you take
recommend
the
that
mold
you
off first
spill-
before you throw it.
Do not spill your jelly on your synths. Okay.
Man, he says, is that my history? It is now. I have to
Oh, dear.
explain my history to my browsing history to my wife. Actually,
Well-
but Jane knows about the jelly wrestlers.
Hey, you can never get bored on my show. In one part of it, you're talking about synths. and the next part of it, you're talking about Jello and jelly and all sorts of stuff. So yeah,
and tea in between.
That's it. Rightio. We're gonna end it, I think, before it gets worse.
A fun fact about Jello, right? You can make your own Jello. You save your fingernail trimmings for a while. You blend them up and add hot water, and it'll set into Jello.
Keratin.
That's what it is.
Oh, yeah. Don't go there.
Animal hooves. Yeah.
Don't go there. I mean, you could, if you wanted to, you could fill up your teenage engineering field backpack with fingernail clippings, if you like, or Jello.
You could make it on the table.
Exactly.
You could. And stir it with an OPC.
Daren, hang on.
Sample it. Yeah.
Daren, make what specifically?
Desire. Hey, I won't even tell you about the story about Rave having a sausage in his mouth.
What?
This is a classic.
Oh no!
You should never bring food into your studio. Is a thing, isn't it?
It's a good.
And Rave happened to be in doing some of his work. He was obviously slightly lower than me, and I brought some hot dogs up. But unbeknownst to me, I tripped whilst entering. Hot dogs went everywhere, and yes, he had a sausage in his mouth. It took me. I was going to take a photo of it actually, but I was too distressed making sure I hadn't only got on any equipment.
You'd probably be done for some kind of abuse, I think, if you took a photo.
Yeah. I mean, why couldn't Dave fit through the door because he had a sausage in his mouth?
Next Rave Dave album, there's going to be a section. There has to be a section in there. So get that sausage out of your mouth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Oh,
well, you put it there,
It was
down.
funny afterwards. It wasn't.
Taking the Frankfurter for the school, mate. That's it. That is classic.
Yeah, you see what?
Oh, jeez. Next album cover.
It took me hours to clean him.
Oh, did you have tomato sauce all over him, did you?
Yes. And a bit of mustard.
To get out, you need a special powder to get out those hard to get out stains.
Well, he was going to get blow dried.
Yes.
That is hilarious.
I should have put him on
This is what
TikTok.
happens. Yes. We've been told this is what happens
Definitely.
when Ranzee drinks beer.
Oh, you should see what some of our older shows when
we
we drink more than one beer.
go batty. Yeah.
Only took one beer.
All these newbies who think that we've, never.
Hey, so
drunk
Rant,
beer
did you
before.
have the Australian stereotype? Do you drink Foster's?
You can't buy Foster's here. I mean, you can.
can't even get it,
It's
yeah.
not really. You can't really buy it. No, it's not. It's
Really?
not like everywhere like you'd think.
Never
you can
seen
get it.
Yeah.
You can get it in.
Wow.
The only place I've ever seen it at is the airport. That's the only place I've ever seen it at.
Yeah.
And
Wow, that's crazy.
True.
it's actually horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Paul Hogan used to sell it, right?
Well,
I'm surprised
Maybe
that-
400 years ago.
It was big over here for a long time. Like I said, I don't think it is anymore. Probably still get it.
I would be ashamed if people thought that's the taste of Australian beer. I would be ashamed.
No. I'd say it was in the 60s.
Is
and
it cheap
70s,
at least? Is it?
No,
Not comparatively speaking.
Really?
No.
Oh wow.
As I said, it's not. They don't deliberately make it for sale. They deliberately make it for tourism.
I'd rather them have VB than Foster's. Even that would have been a tiny little step
almost
up.
as old.
Yeah, but I mean,
no,
Foster's, that's horrible. That stuff. I'm just trying to think what would be a good Australian beer to promote these days. I mean, most beers now have gone to IPAs and hazies and things like that. So, I'll tell you what I don't mind is there's a company that's gone worldwide and it's called Single Fin. By Gage Road. They're called Gage
Roads.
Brewers.
Yes.
Castlemaine
down south.
Remember that?
Yeah, Gage is right down south.
Yeah.
Castlemaine, Australian.
Castlemaine's Brisbane Queensland.
Yeah.
4X.
Yeah, I remember
4X is a bit
selling
rubbish
that
too.
Yeah.
But Gage Road, Gage
Quite nice.
Road. You guys, I think they're overseas now. Go see if you can taste that. That's a decent beer, decent Australian beer. By the way, Australians drink beer ice cold, like icy cold. We don't like beer room temperature. None of this bullshit room temperature shit.
If
you know,
if you open an esky and the ice is melted, we refuse to drink the beer. It's like, no, it's not ice anymore. It's not cold
yeah,
anymore.
we need more ice. Yeah,
absolute rubbish.
Yeah, no, don't ever drink Foster's. And if you have had Foster's and you think, Australian beer is rubbish because you drink Foster's, then you're a fool. You're foolish.
I just had to ask because we used to be inundated with the marketing campaigns here for Foster's.
Yeah, we too. Yeah, and Paul Hogan did do those campaigns.
Come down and say good day. I'll put another shrimp on the barbie for you.
Prancing Pony is definitely
yeah.
For better or worse, it's imprinted in our DNA.
I never liked the taste of 4X. I always thought it had a funny aftertaste about it, like it was kind of almost
metallic?
Fruity.
Oh, okay.
Metallic.
I think
like you're about to have a heart attack.
That's true.
A brain aneurysm. VB, eh? Wags. Tell you a trick you can do with VB. There's this ginger wine you can buy called Stone's Ginger Wine, and I don't know if you can get it in the UK. I think you might be able to. You can. You get yourself a stubby of VB, and have a few sips out of it so you can make a bit of space in there, and you get your ginger wine and top it up, and just very very gently so it doesn't spray everywhere. Just roll the beer so you're mixing it,
kind of, right?
And you've got yourself the Australian bush version of a ginger beer. And we used to do that when we went camping when we were younger. Really,
it's like
really
they call
cool
it shandy
thing.
here.
It's like a shandy. Yeah, it's like a shandy.
Yeah. I mean, a traditional UK shandy would be half pint of beer and topped up with lemonade.
Yeah, I never really liked that though. Did you ever like that?
Yeah. No, I never liked it.
I don't know. Just never tasted.
It's like an alcoholic Arnold Palmer, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't my thing. Anyway, I'm going to have to end the show because I've got to hit the fart
5 a.m. call up. Yeah.
Indeed.
You've got to let him get his beauty sleep.
Indeed. Right. Same bat time, same bat channel next week. See you guys.
Awesome.
Hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to subs and all that sort of stuff, and check out all these guys' channels here as well. Be nice, and press record if you can, please.
Absolutely.
Uru. Bye.
Au revoir.
Bye.